not just because there was just an absence of any other real suggestion of what might have happened, except what the jury found, obviously unanimously. Now there's a new trial that won't have the same evidence. What does Mr. Murdoch's attorney, Alex Murdoch's attorney, think of this decision and what it means for his future in this case?
All right, give me a minute. You know what I'm doing. Getting this last screen up. So bear with me. All right. It's a late live, so um, it's probably going to be somewhat abbreviated because I don't know how many or how this is going to go. Because I didn't bring a bunch of topics. I just want to discuss something with you because I wasn't gonna go live for a minute, but um, something I came across. So I do want to run it by you folks. Something I actually came across, so I do want to run it by you. So as a result, here I am. So give me a minute to get my last platform up, and we should be able to have a short term party in a moment. But I'm asking that question that you can see on the monitor behind me. Do you trust China, which is going to be our actual topic here? So almost, and good evening to a few of you folks that are filtering in. I think we got everything going. Do we? It looks like we do. So good evening. Welcome to the program. It is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. Few things going on today. Trump is on day coming up. Let me actually. I got my background. I always complain about other people with a loud background. I had my television up, but I always talk about folks. In regards to who to trust and who's getting things wrong, who's getting things right. I want to ask you: do you trust China? Because the main conversation revolved around, do you trust Iran? If we make some sort of deal with Iran, like the deal that Obama made with the JPOA, whatever the acronyms for it is, but the deal that Obama made with Iran during his term, the the notion was you can't trust Iran, so why get into deals with the nation of Iran? But I want to ask you, because Trump is in China, allegedly trying to get involved with a deal with China. Do you trust China? And I'm asking that from a standpoint of the Trump administration admitted both China and Russia were actively giving weapons to and intelligence to the Iranians. So we're at war with Iran, and China is one of the countries that is actively helping them out. So why would we get into some type of agreement with China when they actually when they were obviously on the other side? Do you trust that they would honor the deal? Now I want to present something to you that I think is very important that you may not know, because right now a lot of folks believe that shutting down the Strait of Hormuz is one of the biggest economic threats to the planet. Certainly to our own economy. You see what happened with the price of gas and things like that. So a lot of folks believe that shutting down the Strait of Hormuz is a major economic threat. I have a bigger one. And I wasn't going to go live, but I think this is so interesting, and you may end up hearing this in other circles soon, but it's not floating around yet. But I have a bigger issue that I think could really affect global finances, and it could really, really weaken America. So while Trump is over in China and we're debating who has the upper hand, or as Trump once said, who has the cards, I'm going to tell you, based on what I'm seeing, China holds almost the entire deck. I get it that Iran and China have an oil deal. China's purchasing a lot of fuel from Iran, and if we can prevent them from getting it by shutting down the strait, it would hurt Iran fuel-wise. I got something bigger than that China has on us. And I believe it is why so many of the, what do I want to say, tech bros, I believe Elon Musk went to China, some of these, the data guys, the guys who are, who eat, sleep, and breathe technology and data. Why I believe they are in China. And this is not just coming from me. I'm going to take this way up. So I want you to understand this is not just coming from some idiot on the internet like me who's way, way underground. And why the hell would we believe your ass? What the fuck do you know? It ain't coming from me. I'm just a messenger delivering this to you from who it actually is coming from. Because I believe this could be way more damaging economically. I want to give you a quick clip from President Trump's own U.S. Treasury Secretary. If I have this queued up. This is what I believe is worse than shutting down the Strait of Hormuz and can cause more damage than the rising fuel prices. And I'm going to play what he says. It's only a few seconds long here, but then I'll explain it to you if I can get my sound system to work in somewhat detail, because I believe this is why we need to straighten this shit out with China. And Taiwan is at the forefront of this. Immediately, we need to straighten this stuff out.
Conductors, I would say.
Okay, I don't know if I got the volume up, but you absolutely need to hear this. I want to make sure my volume is all the way up so no one misses a word of this. This is Trump's Treasury Secretary. So this is one of his own guys.
Doctors, I would say that the single biggest threat to the world economy, the single biggest point of single failure, is that 97% of the high-end chips are made in Taiwan. If that island were blockaded, that capacity were destroyed, it would be an economic apocalypse. So we are
I don't know if you can hear it or not. The volume on it is not the best. What he's saying, the biggest threat is the fact that all the semiconductors are made in Taiwan. Now, the semiconductors are what we use for every fucking thing. Communication devices, technology, whether it's technology that we enjoy for leisurely purposes like television and computers, or weapons, our missile systems, all of that stuff, GPS, all of that stuff uses semiconductors. By far the world's biggest maker of semiconductors is Taiwan. You hear him say, because you know where Taiwan is located, you hear him clearly say that if China imposed a blockade on Taiwan, similar to the one that Iran is using with the Strait of Hormuz, similar to the blockade we have on Cuba, so that Taiwan cannot ship or receive anything, companies like Apple have stated they only have a few months reserve of semiconductors. So if all of a sudden they cannot get their hands on semiconductors, just think about all the shit that Apple makes and all of the other Microsoft, all of that stuff. That would effectively stall all of the communication, all of the high-end devices, all of the technological advances going forward in this country and many others. But America is going to face the music significantly greater because we have a lot more of that stuff than other folks. But understand all of the high guidance missiles and all this shit that Trump is bragging about, the Tomahawks and stuff that we using on Iran, all of that stuff has those semiconductors in it. All of that stuff does. So all China has to do is block Taiwan, and they've built islands around Taiwan. I should have had a damn map prepared for you, but they have since built like man-made islands and stuff like that real close to Taiwan. So it would not be any difficulty whatsoever for China to impose a full blockade on Taiwan. I mean, the only way to stop it, you'd have to have NATO member nations, including America, willing to go to war against China to open that back up. You see how much trouble we're having opening up the Strait of Hormuz against Iran. Imagine if you got to do it against China in their backyard. Just imagine that. If you got to take the U.S. Navy and perhaps a few other allies, hopefully this time they would come with the way Trump has talked to them. But imagine if you have to fight to keep Taiwan's imports and export market open, and China was trying to stop it, and you're only a few hundred miles from their mainland, meaning they could launch all kinds of weapons and shit. And all of our folks are thousands of miles away from home on at sea. It would be a challenging issue. So I do want to present that to you, that shutting the Strait of Hormuz down is not the biggest threat financially globally. And understand that China and Iran are kind of somewhat allies, which is what Trump is over there doing, trying to get China away from Iran. I don't know though, folks. So what I want to ask, we're going to ask, the whole title of the program today is, do you trust China? Now, Trump is indicating he's made great deals, or he's making great progress with China. And hopefully Trump is accurate in stating that. But keep in mind, everybody Trump meets with, everybody Trump talks to is a great phone call. It was very productive. That's just what he says. Thank you, Giant Robot, for the hat and mustache. Appreciate you starting the program off right. Thank you. But that's just what Trump says. He speaks in an optimistic tone towards anything he's involved in, whether it's optimistic or not. That's just the message he comes back with. So who do you think has the upper hand in this? My analysis says China, but what do you think? Between America and China, America's over in the Strait, where we could block the Strait and prevent Iran from trading oil with China. Not to say that they haven't found other routes to get the oil there, but obviously if China blocks Taiwan from doing business, that's going to hurt us technologically. So who has the upper hand, China or America, in this debate, in this summit? That's what we're going to talk about as well. So looking in the comments, and like I said, I wasn't going to go live until I started looking into this and hearing about this and it floating around. I'm like, shit, that makes more sense why President Trump took tech bros or Elon Musk and these data guys. That makes more sense why he's taking them around with him. Their businesses are in jeopardy. The shit they're doing is in jeopardy too. Elon Musk, imagine if he couldn't get his hands, if his businesses could not get their hands on semiconductors. That would put Tesla, the whole Tesla corporation would be in jeopardy. So looking in the comments real quick, tap the screen, get the lights on up. You start the program. I will take the first caller at 10,000. Let me know if you think it's full of shit, or do you think China may have a real stranglehold potentially on America going forward. China has had 20% of their oil imports from Venezuela and Iran decreased. Yeah, but at the same time, if they have what I'm talking about, my guess is they could easily get Trump to, well, from what I hear, China, a lot of China's shipments have been going through the Strait of Hormuz, though. So I don't know about that. I don't know if you're saying 20%. I don't know. They also buy oil from Russia. That's their neighbor. So yeah, I don't know. I think here's another thing too is when it comes to having your imports decreased, I think we in America have, compared to the rest of the world, we live such a privileged life. I don't think we have the capacity for pain and suffering like other countries do. I mean, the Chinese have only recently become better off. Americans, how far do we got to go back? America's been living fairly lavish compared to the rest of the world for a long time. Same thing in Iran. They don't live as well as us. I do believe that both the Iranians and the Chinese have a greater capacity for sacrifice and suffering than America does. At this point, fuel is averaging around $4.50 a gallon. Yeah, it's making some folks struggle. It's a little harder. But for the most part, the highways are still full of cars. We're bitching about something that small. These folks can live in the dark. These folks can go without food. They can live and I won't say thrive, but I do believe they could survive with less complaining than us in America. I just think if you start taking shit away from us, we're going to bitch and complain a lot greater, a lot quicker. And mainly it's because we're a democracy. Those countries are dealing with dictators. So the dictator can say, shut the fuck up. In a democracy, you got a little bit more power as a people. So looking in the comments, we'll go straight to the box, tap the screen, get the likes on up to 10,000. So when is America first? I don't have an answer for that. In the comments, someone asked, when is it going to be America first? Mechanic guy, Phoenix mechanic guy. Be honest with you, I do not have an answer for that. I'm going to say, based on what I've seen, has been anything but. Most of Trump's accomplishments have been more international or attempted accomplishments, depending on how you view it. But most of the stuff Trump has been doing, the big stuff, it's been international. I haven't seen him really pursuing anything of any significance that's going to benefit the American people as a whole. Okay, Trump RX. I think there are Trump accounts for children. Some of that's domestic. But most of the big shit he's doing is international. Taking whole countries, threatening to take whole countries is more international. So I don't know about the America first, at least not yet. In the comments, yes, massa, eyes be good, don't want no trouble. Ronald, appreciate the input. Trump lost the future for USA, says Mr. Greenland. Yeah, Mr. Greenland, I chopped your clip up, and it's a short, and yeah, people been commenting on how sad that sounds to have someone like yourself who's genuinely in a foreign country saying that, and most Americans that I can tell agree with you. Let me go straight to the box, tap the screen. I need 10,000. Help your boy out with the hat and mustache. TikTok cap goals. This is a full show. Jeremy, good evening. Welcome to the program. Now, did you hear my monologue about China? The potential they have if they blockade Taiwan. You think there's any validity in that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's pretty obvious that China is not our friend. They haven't been our friend for forever. The only reason why we even work with them is because they were a shanty town for a long time. They were not particularly wealthy for a long time, but then we started, I think it was under Nixon that we actually, if I'm not mistaken, started to move a lot of manufacturing overseas because it was cheaper.
Yeah, I was going to say, I disagreed. We started working with them because they were a shanty town. We started working with them because we thought we could make a lot more money by assets and pennies on the dollar of labor.
Yeah, but that's what I'm talking about. It's like poorer countries, you're able to pay them less.
Yeah. And here's what's really fucked up about this. I mean, it's kind of a side topic, but we let a few folks in this country pursuing cheap labor to make themselves rich at the expense of all the working Americans. We let them do that. Now they've put the safety of all of us at risk because they've enriched China, one of our greatest enemies. So our enemy now has a lot of power due to all the extra jobs and money in the economy that a few folks in this country gave them so that they could make money.
Yeah, that's fucked up. And actually, that reminds me, you read my article, and I actually mentioned that in there.
Yeah.
About the fact that I think that business owners that hire illegal immigrants for the same reason why we ship jobs overseas, which is for cheap third world labor, should be put in jail. And for those who want to read it, it's New Rules for Conservatives on Substack.
It's a good read. It's not long. It's a good read. I would recommend it. It's a good read.
Yeah, and there's nothing conservative about cheap foreign labor. They're sure, I understand capitalism and to cooperate with countries that it makes sense to, but there's a limit to it. Capitalism is like a game, and and any good game has rules. And if you don't enforce rules, it becomes chaos.
But that's your Saturday out, Jeremy. We don't want big government, less regulation, let the free market decide. Well, the free market decides this shit. Because some folks are saying that even though we don't get most of our oil through the Strait of Hormuz, the reason why gas costs so much in America also has something to do with oil companies price gouging. You don't regulation. You want to let the free market decide. The free market has decided, let's rip these motherfuckers off. I mean, that's what your party wants.
The thing is, I am for the free market. What I am for, though, is a free market that has rules that we all universally obey. So the idea is not that the government decides every little thing that happens. Is that it sets a set of ground rules for each market and says everyone just play fair, right? And when you don't play fair, you get punished. You know what I mean? But other than that, the government kind of leaves it alone. And I don't think every market is the same. For instance, healthcare is not the same as, say, toothbrushes.
Right.
Toothbrushes, it's an easy market to get into. Almost anyone can get into it with a low cost. There's economies of scale with which applies to everything. But like, it's not the same as something, say, like energy or healthcare. Energy and healthcare need more regulation because there's such a massive amount of investment you need up front, and knowledge and specific know-how in order to do it correctly. That very few people can actually compete with other companies. You don't have, the point of capitalism is that you have as many companies as possible competing for the same customers. If there are only a few companies, they can turn into monopolies real fast and not obey any rules.
Yeah, but I mean,
I'm pro-capitalism. I'm pro-capitalism, but I'm pro-reason too. There's a difference between in being like pro-capitalism, where you treat capitalism like a god, versus saying, okay, capitalism is just better than socialism.
Yeah, and see, my take on it, and I've said this many times, is I don't think capitalism is any better than socialism if you don't put rules. If you don't put socialist-like rules on capitalism, completely unrestricted capitalism, you don't want no part of that. That's horrible. So unless you add socialist rules to it, which socialism is about making everything fair and equal, unless you add some rules like that in it, unfettered, unchecked capitalism is horrible. You don't want that.
I don't think you need socialist rules, but you definitely need rules. Like, this oversimplifies it by a lot, but this is at least kind of a heuristic for people to understand the basics of what I'm talking about. Capitalism says we should all have an equal playing ground. Socialism says we should all have the same outcome. And I think that there's a difference.
But you're never going to have, even if capitalism says we should all have an equal playing ground, if somebody is succeeding and they are, let's say you started out at equal playing ground, but one person, they bet on the right stocks or whatever. Now they have millions and you don't. You're never going to catch up with them, no matter what the rules are. I mean, money in a capitalist environment, money is going to unequalize anything you're talking about.
Right. But here's the thing: there's something called the Pareto principle. Have you ever heard of it?
No.
So the Pareto principle is the 80-20 rule. It basically means 80% of your results will come from. Well, actually, it just basically means a large percentage of your results will come from a small percentage of your inputs. So a large percentage of your outcome is from a small percentage of your inputs.
Okay.
Now, this also applies to success. I'm sorry to say it, but the more successful you are, the fewer people there are like you. And of your successes, a small percentage of the things that you've done are the most successful. And of that small percentage that are successful, an even smaller percentage of it is successful for a long time. So when it comes to people who can contribute the most, even if we were to take away all the landmines on the equal playing field and have everyone always start off with the same amount of money, there are just some people who just have certain talents and certain abilities that others don't.
But it
here's something nobody wants to hear. I want to hear what you have to say, Tim, but this is just one little last thing I want to add in there. IQ is mostly genetic. And IQ is a huge predictor of success.
I mean, I don't know about the genetic part, but I'll agree that it's a predictor of success. But here's something you're not throwing in there, is the fact that when folks become successful in capitalism, not only do they continue striving for more success, they try to have the rules change so it's harder for other people to climb up to where they are. So they don't just continue striving for success. They start literally changing the game to their favor. So that's what makes it hard. So you're not going to be on equal playing fields, because the minute people succeed, they start trying to shut doors to prevent you from getting there.
Well, that's usually a matter of lobbying. Now, I will give you one thing for sure. Success does breed success, and failure breeds more failure. So, for instance, if you have a business that's really successful and it got there completely on its own merits, you have a lot more money to play with now. Now, all of a sudden, you can expand to have more restaurants and a larger amount of money that other competitors might not have. So you can outcompete everybody, even if you start going down in quality.
Yeah, I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example. Like they have a big business tax structure where people who, if you got a big business like Walmart or whatever, they put you in a different tax structure. They're giving you benefits in taxes because you create a lot of jobs and things like that. So they're trying to treat you in a manner of rewarding you so that you'll continue, passing it back on and hiring more people. But in reality, about half, I think I read a study that half of the jobs in America are created by small business. And unfortunately, the small businesses do not get the same tax benefit as a big business, even though they're doing the same thing. So 50% of the small businesses compared to 50%, if half of the jobs are coming from small business and half are coming from big business, the big business wealth is going to snowball because you're giving them tax breaks that do not exist for small business. And the big businesses are not doing anything better for the worker at all.
Yeah, I know, or for the customer either, and so I actually agree with you, and that's why I think that capitalism should be a system in which everybody plays by the same rules. But unfortunately, we don't really have a true capitalist system. We have a mixed economy. We have a little bit of socialism, which is more a command economy, actually, a little bit of what's it called, primitive economy, which is like hunter-gatherer. We have that's for like hunting and stuff like that,
right.
And growing your own food and shit. We have a little bit of the free market. So we have a little bit of everything, which I'm not 100% opposed to, but I do think that we should have a capitalist system with rules. But again, and I don't think I do. I'm someone who's a conservative who's willing and to admit that capitalism isn't perfect. It's just that every other system has always failed. Always.
Well, like I said, if you take away the rules to make capitalism fair, which I refer to them as like socialistic like rules. You disagree with the term, but if you take those rules away, capitalism in this country will fail as well. I mean, you hear the left talking about eat the rich and stuff like that, because the fact is, the current state of capitalism in America, more and more people are failing at it. I mean, just think about the percentage of folks in this country that have worked most of their adult lives in our capitalistic system, and they have little to nothing saved up for retirement. And it's not because they've been managing their money like shit. So they ain't been getting paid much. You got people who, my age working for $20 an hour. How much money they gonna put toward retirement? I mean, I mentioned Walmart. Think about what Walmart pays its average employees. How much are you really going to be putting toward retirement if you work there? So that needs to. That's a perfect example, because when I lived in Australia, they had what was called the superannuation, which is similar to our 401k. But it was mandatory by law. Your employer has to take 10% of your salary and put it into a retirement account, which means now if you're only paying them $10-12 an hour, 10% is not going to make anybody work there. In America, saving for retirement is optional. So once our generation, I'm Gen X, this is about the time they got rid of pensions. Yeah, they got rid of pensions and started having 401ks. Once my generation start retiring, it's going to be a whole lot of homeless old people.
I know. And here's the thing, Tim. You're not talking to someone who doesn't know what you're talking about. I'm 30. I'm young. Well, not really young, but I'm younger.
Well, you're coming from a generation where pensions never were really an option. You were born into 401ks were there from the minute you started working. I remember some of the older jobs still had pensions, so that they actually looked out for the folks who gave them 20 to 40 years of their lives. Now they don't do anything. You got companies you can work for that don't even contribute any money to your 401k. Nothing.
Yeah, I know, and it's really, really sad. And the thing is that as my generation is never going to see Social Security. We're never going to have it when we retire. It's going to be bankrupt by then. Now, I've always thought that Social Security was a Ponzi scheme to begin with. It wasn't really particularly useful. But the thing is, I do understand what you're saying, that the rules are set by the rich.
Right.
Because the
for
rich
the rich.
For the rich. And the thing is, the rich do have the power to lobby and to get into and to actually have the money to campaign, to get into office. Now, the thing is, the rich throughout history have always been kind of like this. Like, even our founding fathers were very wealthy.
Yeah, but the rules were stronger back then. If you look at let's take the Rockefeller years what was it, Howard Hughes, the wealthy people of the past. They were paying real tax money. The folks nowadays, there's so many different things you can do to write off, and they pay a percentage-wise a lot less in taxes now than they did back then. And the head of a major company now makes a hell of a lot more percentage-wise than they did back then. The employees received a lot more share of the company's profits back then than they do now.
Yeah, I know, and it's really sad. But again, like, I still think capitalism is still a good system. It just needs rules. Now, but back to China, because we've been talking about capitalism for quite a while.
Right.
Look, China is not our ally. It's never been our ally. They've just kind of went along with us because we're big daddy warbucks, and we have the money to invade other countries and crush them really fast, and to build up infrastructure like nobody's business. You know, we basically pulled China out of what they were. They weren't particularly wealthy before Nixon started investing in them. And so they only played ball because they know, that it was good for them. But they've always wanted to stab us in the back. They've always wanted this, and now they're threatening. Now they're being hostile.
I don't know if I agree with that, Jeremy, because we did rescue the Chinese.
The Chinese government, not the people of
China.
Well,
even the government, you got to understand, without America, Japan was kicking the shit out of the Chinese during World War II. So their government used to like us at one point. And then all of a sudden, after World War II, we went after the Nazis. But we pretty much let the Japanese get away unscathed with all of the atrocities, which were just as equally as bad as the Third Reich. We let them get away with all that.
Well, that and China was also communist. There was a huge ideological hatred between us. Yeah. Now, we shouldn't have let the Japanese get away with what they did. If you guys ever want a horror story, look up the rape of Nanking.
I know really about it. Yeah, from the 30s. From the 30s. The Japanese going into that town and just raping women.
Yeah, it was horrifying. But here's the thing: we were ideologically opposed to the Russians, and we worked with them in World War II. But look what happened the second as World War II was over. We weren't exactly friends, were we?
No, you're right. It's the communism label, because that's also allegedly why we went into the Vietnam War, was to stop the spread of communism. So we're so gung-ho on making sure everybody are capitalists that we've gotten millions of Americans killed and killed millions of other folks in the process. This is the argument, not to go too far on the Iran thing, but when I hear all of the folks, particularly on the right, saying that Iran's been yelling death to America, it's because of shit like that. Trying to prevent communism from spreading. Just stay at your fucking crib, be happy you're a capitalist, and leave everybody else alone. Why are you going around the world trying to promote capitalism and stop communists from being what they want to be? I mean, it's stuff like that that leads to this.
Well, I definitely don't agree with invading other countries to push our ideology. But, like, we've seen that capitalism works better. Look at South Korea and North Korea, completely ideologically different, both in name and in function. South Korea at night has its entire grid lit up like a Christmas tree, while North Korea is dark. It's a black hole.
Yeah, but I don't think communism is why North Korea is like that, because, like I mentioned, Russia's not black and dark, and it's a communist country.
They're not communist anymore.
Depends on who you ask. I mean, they still claim to be. They're not claiming to be a capitalist country, are they?
They're more capitalist than they were when the Soviet Union was still around by a significant margin. By a very significant margin. But they haven't transitioned over completely, and they do still have some holdouts that want the old communist system of old. Because here's the thing: like, communism just does one thing correctly. It can move large amounts of resources and stabilize a region. It's very, very good at that because it's what's known as a command economy. And a command economy is like government and top-down structure, and it's very good for mobilizing a lot of resources all at once. It's almost terrible at everything else. So people prefer the stability of a tyrant like the communist government of Russia over the experimental and riskier, but ultimately more prosperous system of capitalism in America.
Well, I'm going to tell you something, and this is coming from the Bernie Sanders types and the socialist types in this country and the Mom Donnie types. Until we get, or unless we get the amount of Americans failing under our capitalistic system under control, you're going to have a greater and greater push for socialism in this country. Because I look at it like this. No, I don't want to be taxed 70%. I'd rather be taxed much less. But if you tax me 70% in this, and I can get health care, I can get tuition loan forgiveness and child care for my kids, I would rather you take the 70% out of my check, because if you're only taking 20 and giving me the other 80, I can't afford that stuff. So that's what people are starting to say is, well, shit, that you're saying that you get taxed higher in those countries, but they get a lot more for what you're taxing them than folks in America who are taxed less can even afford. So go ahead and take the 70%.
Yeah, I understand that. And you know what? At the end of the day, people need to survive. They need to be able to get their wounds checked by a doctor. They need to be able to eat. They need to be able to provide for their families. And I know this probably better than a lot of people. I've been homeless before. I've been in the shit.
And see, that don't happen in a socialist environment. You don't have people being homeless or dying with no health care and stuff like that. That don't happen in their environments. They look out for their people. It may not be the best health care, may not be the best house, but you're not on the street and you're not totally 100% uninsured. So that's what's making people look at those other systems and like, you keep saying capitalism is better, but they don't have people like me in that system. Nobody is sitting out being homeless. So they're looking at those systems and starting to look at them like, this might be worth a try. I'll give you the last word. I got to move it on.
All right, Tim. Like I said, if anyone wants to, guys, go ahead and read that article. It goes in depth as to what I think conservatives should stand for. But at the end of the day, people need to be able to eat and get health care and feed and educate their children and pay their bills. And so I understand why people are upset and they're looking for socialism. But socialism is like greener grass on the other side. It's an illusion. It doesn't really work. But at the end of the day, neither does capitalism when capitalism isn't playing by the same rules. When all of a sudden the rich and the billionaires and the millionaires get to play by different rules than the rest of us, that's not really a game anyone should play. You know, nobody says that some players should be able to play differently in the NBA than the rest of them. Yeah. So hopefully we can get this thing under control, and you and me, Tim, can both, regardless of whether it's socialism or capitalism, be able to get our food cheap, our healthcare cheap, and our housing cheap.
Well, right now the president said he's not even focused on that shit right now. So I got to move it on. Jeremy, thank you for coming through.
Have a good one, Tim.
You too. And I got to tell you something. When you see, let's take this administration in particular, you're getting tribunals, you're having military parades on your birthday, you're getting jets and gold ballrooms and shit. Do you feel like capitalism is working for you? Right now, when you're paying more and more for everything, and he's just getting more and more free shit. And by the way, understand most of that free shit is coming from your tax money. So you're struggling to pay your rent, you're struggling to fill up your car, you're struggling to pay your bills, and some of the money they're taking from you while you're struggling is going for those lavish items that he's getting. You're paying for that stuff for him while you're simultaneously struggling. He's talking about, we need a ballroom so we can host parties and shit. I don't have a fucking house. How the hell am I going to get a job and you're going to take some of my tax money to help you build a room to party? I barely have a house. So this is what you're dealing with. Communism is not as good as capitalism. I get it. But this is capitalism, and that's not selling well for the young folks. Tap the screen, get the likes on up to 25,000. We'll go back to the box. We're talking about, do you trust China? Because President Trump is over there currently about to make a deal. Help your boy out with the TikTok cap, hat, mustache goals, if you will. If you're watching us live currently on Instagram, TikTok, Substack, or Clapper, feel free to follow the program. If you're watching us live on YouTube, give your guy a sub. It sounds like a king taxing the shit out of us for the eat cake. Yeah, it is kind of a let them eat cake type situation. It really is, in my opinion. When you got the likes of the late Charlie Kirk saying, you know, they shouldn't get free lunch in schools and healthcare and shit like that, and then he's getting all these lavish items. It does look like that. I mean, look, if we need a ballroom, we need a ballroom. If we need to upgrade Air Force One, I get it. But there is a such thing as optics. Wait a while until you straighten up the other shit first. And then, I mean, you can fly around in Air Force One for a few more months. This don't have to be done now. We absolutely don't need a tribunal. There was no immediate need for the ballroom. I mean, you're talking about being a nationalist country. If you're going to be a nationalist and practice nationalism, you're not going to have a lot of guests here any damn way. There was no need to rush for that shit in the middle of this current environment. So there is a such thing as optics. I'm not saying he may not be right. We may need a ballroom. We may need a new Air Force One. I'm not disagreeing with him, but the optics of doing it right now, it just looks bad. People are really struggling. Let me go back to the box. Sight, beyond sight, I think that says. So now the liberals want, what are you saying, that want to outdo cutbacks or something like that? Buckeye in the comments, do you think the optics of what's going on right now, President Trump, military parade, UFC fight at the White House, selling Teslas on the White House lawn, what else? Ballroom, a new jet. Right now in this economy, are you telling me the optics of this looks okay to you? You're fine with all of that, while Americans are paying 40% more for tomatoes, 20% more for airline tickets. I don't know, God knows what, about 40% more for fuel, and there's no promise that it's going to come down anytime soon. You really think all of that shit should be purchased right now with the money from the people that are struggling? Does that make sense to you? Let me go back to the box, tap the screen. I don't know what happened with my last caller, but we're moving on with ratfish baiting. Is that what that says? How's their energy costs going in food prices? Bad. For the American citizen, it's not going good at all. Israel gets free health care in college on our tax dollars, and that's another one. I mean, the optics of it looks terrible if you ask me. Stick the ruler, tap the screen, get the lights on up. BDS Trump has, what did he say? Trump has Biden derangement syndrome. Stick, good evening.
Hey, what's going on?
Not much at all. You got a loud background.
I moved out of there.
Okay.
Is that better?
Perfect. So, did you hear my monologue about China posing a grave threat to the technology industry if they shut down import-exports coming out of Taiwan?
Yeah. I'm just being informed. I think that happened today, correct?
Well, Trump is over there trying to have set up some kind of deal, which is why I'm asking, do you trust Taiwan? But here's you weren't around earlier. Here's the message. It's only a few seconds long. That came from Trump's Treasury Secretary, and this is before all of this stuff broke out. But he was kind of making it known.
Doctors, I would say that the single biggest threat to the world economy, the single biggest point of single failure, is that 97% of the high-end chips are made in Taiwan. If that island were blockaded, that capacity were destroyed, it would be an economic apocalypse. So he said
economic apocalypse. Now, you know where Taiwan is situated. China could easily do a blockade like we did around Cuba, and like, we've been known to do. And those semiconductors coming from Taiwan, they're in everything from your phones to your computers to GPS to our missiles and weapons. So if we can't get our hands on semiconductors, it would literally shut down all the technological advances in this country and put all that shit to a standstill. And China's in position to do that, just like Iran shut down the Strait of Hormuz. China could easily do a blockade around Taiwan. They're that close. So do you see where China might be a bigger threat to us than Iran?
I see where they're an equal threat. Because if you got somebody that's controlling 20% of the world's oil, and then you got another person that can control all your damn electronical parts and or conductors that you goddamn need, are you gonna do what Trump did, which was fly the fuck over there real fast in a hurry and smile and shake hands and all that other bullshit? Because guess what? Now he's in a fucking pickle. Congratulations.
So what are you saying?
Up in office.
What are you saying? Similar to Vladimir Zelensky in the Oval Office, we don't have the cards?
We don't have the cards. We didn't have the cards when he started this bullshit, but he thought he was going to do the same thing he did in Venezuela.
Yeah.
It was just going to be a rollover. It was just going to be so swift and so fast that everybody's going to be like, yeah, USA, like that big dumbass hat he wore at the funeral. I mean, not the funeral, but the receiving of the soldiers. So
you talking about at the dignified transfer,
right?
Yeah.
So that's Trump. That's he. What didn't he just tell everybody he ain't thinking about us?
Yeah, we covered that yesterday. Yeah, we covered that just yesterday. So let me ask you, what do you think?
Jackson was right. All I gotta say is that they don't really care about us.
Or money for war and can't feed the poor. So what do you think that? Okay, you mentioned that he was thinking it would be just a pushover like Venezuela, which I agree. But what do you think he was trying to accomplish with Iran? Was it really about preventing them from getting a nuke? With so many people saying that they were not trying to develop a nuke.
No, it had nothing to do with that. Number one, he came out last year and said we destroyed their nuclear capabilities. That's number one.
You did?
That's off a ripple. If you did that, then they're no longer a threat. If you did that, they're no longer a threat. It went from that to, you know what? I'm just going to be a bully. If you don't do what I tell you, I'm going to send you back to the Stone Ages. I'm going to bomb the shit out of you. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Because they're not bending to his will. So now it makes him look soft with an extra T, and his ass is going ballistic because how dare you be a country that I thought wasn't technologically ready for us, but you just standing your ground. I mean, be honest with you, they look like Ukraine versus Russia.
Yeah, it really does.
They make it look like a goddamn paper tiger.
I said that on a broadcast some months ago that the Ukraine revealed that Russia's conventional weapons it makes them look like a paper tiger that they can't easily take out Ukraine. And we're now looking the same way with Iran. We've shown the world that we're not as great of a threat as just like Russia has shown the world with Ukraine that they're not as great of a threat as people originally thought. We have now done that. We have now revealed that we're not as great of a threat as some of these nations may have thought, like Turkey and Palestine and Pakistan. Some of these nations now know, yeah, I mean, it would be a handful, but they're not insurmountable at this point.
This is what they're scared of. They're not really scared of our military anymore. They're not really scared of even his mind state. What they're scared of is we're the only people to ever drop a nuke. We're the only.
You don't see Trump ever thinking about doing that, do you?
Well, the whole thing of it is they don't know. They see him doing these bullshit ass tariffs and fucking up the world and fucking up, taking money from kids and different programs that keep people alive. And just like MAGA React said, if he would have said that, they would have felt like that they would have been in a pickle, or they got him in a pickle. So he did the bullshit that he does. He gets on TV and act like he don't care, which he doesn't. But he's not going to ever say he was wrong or allude to anything saying that he was wrong or he's fucking up. He's always going to just
believes
say, okay, I thought this, that.
Yeah, he believes apologies is a sign. He believes apologies are a sign of weakness. But here's what I don't get. I remember I did a video on this a few weeks back. I used one of the old U.S. Navy recruitment commercials back from the early 2000s where they referred to the U.S. Navy as a global force for good. That's literally the quote they said in the commercial, join the U.S. Navy, a global force for good. And what I'm thinking is we've went from that sort of label to now, an aggressive nation. And when it comes to potentially having Trump use a nuclear weapon or something like that, here's the problem is that every time Trump does this non-traditional shit, he basically opens up other countries to be able to do it, and the U.S. can no longer say you're wrong for doing it. Like we seized Venezuela. So if China tries to seize Taiwan, what can we really say? I mean, every time he takes one of these steps... Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, man, listen, he don't give a damn about that. He's the top dog in American imperialism. He don't give a fuck about none of that. All he cares about is how he looks. He wants his name on this, his name on that. He wants to give me a dollar bill. a $250 bill. I don't know where the fuck that came from. Put my name on the passport and my fucking face. Like this is what he's about. Give me a ballroom. Like not give the United States a ballroom and we're gonna hold certain things where I'm gonna invite U.S. citizens. No. This is for other people and other shit in other countries. It's to host other people. Like, get the fuck out of here. Don't nobody want that shit. You want that shit because you think you finna be around another 1,000 years, you fucking vampire. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Well, if he does get his own statue and tribunal and all this shit, he does probably have that mindset that I want statues of me to be around for another 1,000 years. That probably is kind of what he's thinking. Like he wanted his name on business. That is what he's thinking.
Listen, I don't care if it's a Republican president, a libertarian, an independent, or a Democrat. The next president that comes in is gonna erase Trump from history.
Not if it's Marco Rubio, he's not.
Man, listen, Marco Rubio too. He don't really like Trump. He just
Marco Rubio ain't gonna tear. No, Marco Rubio is not gonna destroy Trump's legacy. MAGA would destroy Marco Rubio if he did that.
His number 2 is waiting on his ass to croak off a Big Mac.
J.D. Vance is not going to destroy Trump's legacy either.
Listen, when Trump is up out of there, whether it be he actually is done with his presidency or he expires early, everybody that said Ted Cruz, all of them, everybody that ever said anything bad about Trump is going to go back to, well, it was a harsh climate and I had to do what I had to do. Yeah, all of them right now is named Toby. Everybody is named fucking Toby, Kunta Kinte. Everybody is black right now. Everybody black. So ain't nobody trying to hear that shit. They gonna do exactly what they do. They playing the game, which is I'm gonna act like I like this dude because that's all it takes. That's the stupid part of Trump. That's the stupid part.
He can be bought.
Everybody is acting like they like this dude. But what they're doing is they're scared, right? Don't know why he softened it a bit.
What the fuck you mean you don't know why? Look at what. Wait, hold on. What do you mean you don't know why? Look at long-term politicians who could have spent the rest of their life in power. Liz Cheney, Mike Pence, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Them folks could have rode off into the sunset. Honorable members of the Republican Party. They crossed Trump and look where they're at now. So they have a reason to be scared. He is destroying people.
No. So again. They're only scared because of his base. They're only scared because of the people who just are bitches and hoes. That's all it is.
Bitches and hoes.
They're not scared of Trump. Yeah. They need to be on the corner getting that money because right now their ass is in the house just stacking. They getting paid on a partial shutdown. Like they was getting paid on the full shutdown. Like we need to go not only for rules of the presidency. But rules for their ass too. If y'all want to do it, if y'all can't get in there and fucking work a deal out to make sure everybody gets paid, then y'all ass don't need to get paid.
I think you're greatly underestimating.
Your ass home.
I think you're greatly underestimating the power of Trump as we stand. Now, it may weaken as time goes on. If you get only way I think what you're going to get, what you're suggesting, where Rubio and Cruz and all of them are going to come out and tell the truth and admit they're scared. You're going to have to get a liberal government to follow up Trump and offer whistleblower protections for them. But if it follows up with Vance or Rubio, that ain't going to happen. And they're not going to come out and say anything negative against Trump because they'll still be riding the wave.
Man, listen, they're not going to ride no wave. Trump ain't got no fucking wave. That shit is flaccid.
That's a tidal wave.
He's Lake Placid right now.
Are you kidding me? What Trump is doing right now... What Trump is doing right now to U.S. politics is not just a wave, it's a fucking tsunami. No one has ever taken over, no one has ever reached the presidency and had as much power as Trump. I think he's more powerful than George Washington was.
No. He's only powerful because of those people who actually can fucking do something about it are being fucking loyalists. They're shutting
What's the difference?
They're saying, you're the best President Trump because of his base. It's not him.
But I'm not arguing your point. What I'm saying is Trump has more power than any other president in our history. We can go back and forth on why he has the power, but fact is that man can do anything he wants at this point.
Listen, the only reason he can do what he wants is because of the Republicans that are in the office right now.
I'm not arguing that.
It's a three step. I ain't even including the judicial, right? But they're scared of his base as well. If he can be getting, if they can get close to him, and everybody keeps saying they done got close to his ass 3 to 4 times, right? If they can get close to him, think about what they can do to you, and you ain't got no fucking security. They can really touch you. So I'm gonna fall in line because at any moment, all Trump has to do is say, look that way. And guess what? They're going to look that way, and then there's going to be some fucking right-wing leftist, right-wing fucking extremist, and they're going to do what they do. Because we've seen it time after time.
We've seen it, but...
Some leftists in there, too. Guess what? There's going to be some extreme leftists in there, too. And guess what? Anybody can be touched. You had somebody running a fucking ballroom with shit that looked like Blade. He had a fucking all-black trench coat / outfit on with a fucking pump and a damn handgun and some knives. Man, what are we talking about, man? And then he was 1 floor away, but at the same time, that's what I'm talking about. Like, I'm
not saying what you're saying is impossible. I'm not saying what you're saying is impossible, but to me, what you're saying amounts more to a wish list. As far right as Hitler was, people tried to take him out. They never did it, though. They were trying to take him out as well. I mean, there may be people that don't want Trump around, but I think expecting them or feeling confident they're going to succeed, that's a wish list. It might, but it's a wish list.
I'm talking about Trump. I'm talking about those damn senators and House representatives, Congress, period. And the judges also, if you don't have security, you are a mark. You are easily gotten. He's already told everybody that, look, you don't do what I do, I'm going to sick my little base on you, the little 30% that I got. And that's a lot of fucking people.
Millions.
That's millions of people.
Millions.
That can come at your ass. So if you don't, exactly. So if you don't tighten up, all I got to do is snap my fingers like Thanos, and they're gonna come at you.
Yeah,
I'm gonna switch the whole.
But you do agree with me.
Time after time.
You do agree with me. He is the most powerful president we've ever had, right?
No, I don't.
Who's more powerful? Who was more powerful? Who was more powerful?
He's the Barack Obama.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yes.
Barack Obama. Are you?
When you can get a whole bunch of motherfuckers that don't like you from day one to sign on the ACA, you have mind control. That's mind control. I ain't talking, and that's mind control over smart.
You're kidding me.
Over people with intelligence.
I'm
just being honest with you.
Hold on. Trump could come in your house right now and put a cap in your ass. And half of the country would not even want him charged for it. Obama didn't have that kind of power.
Listen, please don't make my dream come true. Please don't make my dream come true. Because I got some shit too. That's just a thing.
He's not coming alone, Stick. He's not coming alone.
Listen, he don't have to come alone. I'm not that dude. They don't.
You are that dude. If Trump wanted you taken out, yes, you are that dude. Trump could have you taken out before the end of this broadcast.
They're gonna have to do it so covertly that I don't see anything coming my way. Because the moment I see everything coming my way, I'm 282.
Stick.
I got a bulletproof vest too.
You're crazy, man.
I want all the smoke. I wish ICE would have ran up on me.
Stick,
all the smoke.
You would be smoke. We just took out a member of the cartel in Mexico. We just took out a member of the cartel in Mexico a few days ago. You think they can't get your ass? Really?
Listen. When you know, you know. When you don't, you don't. When you in oblivion and you just walking around, perfect story. Right? And I'm going to tell you, Saddam told this story. There was a man walking in town through to Crete. And He wasn't bothering nobody, wasn't messing with nobody. And the elder of the town said, "Man, what are you doing, man? Why you walking around here messing with people?" He said, "What do you mean? I ain't got no weapon. I ain't doing nothing. No way." He said, "That's exactly my point. You walk around here exposed, somebody could just come off and off you. I'm not that dude walking through the town.
What you got? You got more weapons than Soleimani had?
Hey, just put it this way.
You ain't stopping the U.S. government.
Listen, just put it. I ain't saying that. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is, just as well as they think that I'm going to just be an easy mark, it's not that easy.
You would be stick. They got drones.
I'm a veteran too.
Stick. You ain't a veteran. You don't have access to the shit the U.S. government does. They can take you out. They can take you out from the air, man. Are you kidding me?
So with a drone, if they hit my spot, that means they're gonna actually touch somebody else. They're gonna do something like they did in Iran and destroy some other people. Exactly. So if you's telling me right now that that's how tyrannical our government is, then I need to have everything I got to make sure I protect myself.
And it still won't work. They can go in the back of your fucking crib and send some type of gas through the pipes in your house, and you wouldn't even know what happened. I don't think you realize what the U.S. government is capable of.
Listen,
you ain't got nothing on you that can stop them.
I'll say is this: I don't think anybody in the world has anything to stop our goddamn military services members. But at the same time, they do. You know why? Because they went over to Iran. First time they did any type of strike, they lost fucking 3 planes. Fuck them. I
get it, but
the service members. I ain't talking about the service members because I was a service member. I'm talking about the head. The people at the top don't know what the fuck they're doing. I wish they motherfucking would send somebody here thinking this shit is just popcorn. They're gonna lose some people. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
You're starting to sound like listen, I get your confidence. I'm sure David Koresh was very confident as well, but look where he's at now. I gotta move it on, but you're not taking up you're not stopping the US government. You just
I'm not saying I am. I just said I'm not saying I am, but what I am telling you is if you want to bring that fucking smoke, I love it. And if you want to come bring the smoke, you coming with me. And somebody gonna be smoked too. It ain't gonna just be me. I'm just putting that out there. If you're listening, MAGA, don't bring that dumb shit over here because everybody ain't no blue-haired. Oh yeah, one last thing.
Real quick. I think you're overconfident, but go ahead.
I just found out I'm a liberal. I found out, I think I told you that.
Yeah, you did.
I found out I'm a liberal. I read all the characteristics of a liberal, and I fit every last one. But that just goes to prove that all liberals don't worry about trans, and all liberals ain't got blue hair. Yeah, and I ain't like that because I ain't got none.
Fair enough. I agree with you. Stick, thanks for coming through. Appreciate it. And listen, me and him went back and forth, but yeah, that's been my stance all along. And I know a lot of my beloved MAGA who often hear, my pro-Second Amendment crowd, because I say this a lot, and my pro-Second Amendment crowd hates me when I say this, but I don't believe the Second Amendment would stop tyranny. I just don't. And I'll tell you one thing, I'll give you a few examples of why I don't believe it stopped tyranny. The Second Amendment has been around since the beginning of the country, 1789 or whatever, when the Second Amendment was passed. So most of America's history, we've had the right to bear arms. It didn't stop slavery. It didn't stop women's suffrage. It didn't stop Jim Crow. It didn't stop Black Wall Street. It didn't stop any of that stuff. The government has been tyrannical right alongside the Second Amendment for most of its history. And in many cases, the people that were being victimized had firearms. They actually, during the Jim Crow era, there were a lot of people that had firearms. Didn't stop it. And I mentioned Black Wall Street. That was a community full of folks that were middle and upper class African Americans that had firearms and things like that. They actually did try to fight back. They just went and started using World War I planes and bombed them from the air. And then they killed them. So I don't believe the Second Amendment stops tyranny. And then, of course, I've been using the more recent example of ICE in Minnesota. You think Minnesotans don't have firearms? ICE went to Minnesota at the behest of Trump and J.D. Vance telling them they got immunity, and they were able to do whatever the hell they wanted to do in Minnesota. They were able to stop people randomly, violate people's civil rights and every damn thing. They couldn't do shit with them because they were heavily armed and they had the full blessing of the U.S. government behind them. You think the citizens of Minnesota don't have guns? Couldn't do shit. Couldn't do nothing. So, and if it got out of hand, Trump would have sent more ICE. And I'm going to tell you something. Trump could get on the bullhorn and say, "I need some patriots to come to Minnesota to help us take this country back." And you'd have a bunch of Proud Boys and Oath Keepers and 3%ers flooding the area as well. You can't stop a tyrannical government with what you got in your house. That's just my opinion. I get the confidence of my last caller and things like that, but it just generally doesn't work like that. I just think that sounds like something from folks who've been watching Red Dawn or something like that, hoping that a few guys can take on a juggernaut and win. That ain't reality. Tap the screen. Thank you for helping your boy with the hat and mustache goal. Luis Miguel, I appreciate your support. Buckeye says the black Rambo, the black liberal Rambo. Look, at the end of the day, like I said, if they want you, they can get you. They want you, they can get you. You just don't. And this is, I'm bringing up Black Wall Street and Jim Crow and all of that shit back from the turn of the 20th century. We're in 2026 now. The shit they got now is so advanced. Most of the stuff that the citizens own, in terms of firearms and stuff like that, has only advanced a little bit. The stuff that the government owns has advanced significantly. They're now using unmanned weapons and things like that. You don't have any unmanned shit in your house. You got to put your body out there to fire back. They sending shit at you that don't even have a human being behind it. So what the government has is advanced so significantly compared to what the citizens have. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. Looking in the comments, you got to be willing to lose your life. Yeah, and you will. And you will. I agree with you, though. You got to be willing to lose your life, and you will. Because Minnesota was flooded with illegals. Might not be justified completely, but what's necessary. It ain't got nothing to do with what Minnesota being flooded with illegals. I'm talking about what was happening to the citizens in Minnesota. And by the way, in regards to your comment, ICE went there because they were flooded with illegals. That's how tyranny works. They make up an excuse to be tyrannical. Maybe they're flooded with something else. Somalis that are committing fraud. Whatever excuse you want to use, you use that as a reason to go in there and flood the city with stuff. I mean, isn't that what Hitler used against Jews? He came up with an excuse to be tyrannical. They make up some shit. So, and once they come in, there's nothing you can do about it. Let me go back to the box. Somebody said, except for Rittenhouse. What about Rittenhouse? M. Bagley, good evening, welcome to the program. I'm not worried about them. These people get so much karma and voodoo on them that their entire system is collapsing. Shouldn't it be our system? M. Bagley, good evening. If it brings them up, give it a moment to reset here. It didn't bring my guest up. They don't have to take you out. They can frame you or put you away forever. Yeah, I mean, the government has a million different ways of dealing with you. Let me try it again. By the way, tap the screen. Get the likes on up to 45,000, if you will. Sexy Red will make it happen. Good evening, Sexy. Welcome to the program.
I can't. Let me tell you something, Tim. I hate the fact that you say you beloved maggots. Why can't you say your beloved Democrats or your beloved Sexy Red or something? Something else to the maggots, for God's sake. You really do like that long, tinky winky, uncooked protein chicken. You really do, don't you?
No, I enjoy it.
Yes, you do, Pookie.
I'm trying to explain it to you. I enjoy a good conversation with Maggie. What's wrong with that?
Because let me tell you something. Do you think they'll enjoy your ass up on a tree? Let me tell you this, Tim, and you're gonna regret this shit, because let me break this shit down to you. They don't like you, Pookie. You can drink all the bleach, all the cooked protein.
Okay.
That you fucking want.
I'm not here to try. Wait, hold on. It ain't about liking. It's about I enjoy a decent conversation. MAGA enjoys the conversation as well. I'm not saying.
Are you serious? A decent conversation with mofos that think and breathe it's okay to gerrymander the South. And do you know why they're gerrymandering the South? Tim, they're trying to get 2/3 of Congress. Do you know why they're trying to get 2/3 of Congress? Tim, because they're coming after the 14th Amendment. And guess who is under the 14th Amendment? Black people. They're trying to take that from us, Tim.
So
and you want to get cupcaking with our enemy.
let me ask you something, Sexy. If they, and I heard the request to repeal the 14th Amendment. I've heard that. If they overturn the 14th Amendment, what do you think they have in store for African Americans?
Tim, they're going to take us back, Tim.
Back to what?
Beyond. They're going to take us back to beyond Jim Crow. This is like Jim Crow 2.0, man. My mom and my dad lived through Jim Crow. My mom and my dad went and protested. See, and this is why I can't stand the FBA or whatever shit. They think that Mexicans didn't do shit. Mexicans didn't do nothing, and all the Afro-Latinas ain't black and all this bullshit. They was out there fighting. Mexicans was out there fighting. And do you realize that Mexico abolished slavery before?
Yeah, but you said
United States and stuff. So yes, they're coming after the black and brown people.
you really believe MAGA and Trump supporters would want to take us back to Jim Crow?
Tim, why would they want to take away 14th Amendment? Why do they want to gerrymander everything? Why, Tim? Why?
Well,
Why do you think that is, Tim? You know, Tim, the white team is on the wall. And let me tell you something. While you over here cupcaking and the white team, man, we have to fight, Tim. And you won't fight back with them. But you know what you do? You fight back with me. You fight back with all the dimmies that come up on here. You know what I mean? You always push back. But you never push back with the white team, man.
that is,
you're going
to tell me that's bullshit. That's bullshit.
Let me tell you. No, it is.
No, you know it is. I'll tell you why. Hold on, hang on. I'll tell you why it's bullshit. You just started this live out by telling me you heard me talking to Straight Talk earlier. You're gonna tell me all of the shit I said to him ain't pushback?
Tim, let me tell you something.
It's bullshit. What you just said was bullshit.
Let me tell you something. With your cupcake looking ass.
You're bullshitting. You're bullshitting.
Let me tell you. No.
Yes.
You bullshit.
Yes.
No, be quiet. Quit crying with your little white tears. Let me tell you something. Yes, that's why you laughing.
You bullshitting. That's why I'm laughing.
I don't care. Sit your ugly ass down.
Bullshit.
Let me tell you something. Tim. I cannot. You have to start pushing back. You got to start. Because freedom of speech, honey, is for our government. It's not for everyday use, honey bunny. It's not. Misinformation is not under free speech.
If you listen, here's why you.
It's not. No.
Yes. You bullshit.
No.
If you listen to that live earlier, and you walk away, you bullshit. If you listen to that live earlier and you don't think I pushed back, then you just didn't hear it.
No, you push back on us. But you don't push back on the white team, man.
What the hell is Straight Talk? He ain't white.
You don't push back, you cupcake.
No, you bullshit. You didn't listen to shit. You didn't listen to shit.
Blabbing his chops, and you don't push back. Add some more Democrats. They'll tell you that you.
I was literally telling them. All you doing is blah blah blah. This is all you doing. You didn't hear me tell that man he couldn't eye holes out of his damn sheets and shit. I was saying, you didn't hear that. For you to say I didn't push back, you did not hear that.
You have to start pushing back harder, Tim.
What the fuck you want me to say?
Go off on their asses, Tim. Damn, to quit acting. You know what, Tim? Get you some kahunas.
If I tell a man, you want some bullshit. If I tell a man he at home, if I tell a man, no.
See how mad you are with me, Tim?
No, because you on some bullshit. Because you on some bullshit.
Bullshit, right?
Yes.
I'm on bullshit.
Bullshit.
Right? Look at you.
Certified bullshit. Certified bullshit.
And go kick ass on a white team, man. How about that?
Certified
Instead of
bullshit.
a black woman, why don't you get you some kahunas and start saying bullshit towards the white team, man?
If I just told you, I was literally telling the man that his policies and his mindset means he's at home cutting eye holes out of his sheet, and you go, well, go off on him. No, you're not even listening. You're just talking. You're doing it again. You're doing it right now. You're just talking. You're not listening.
Oh, look at it.
You're still doing it.
What am I doing?
All you doing is talking. You still doing it. No, this is all you're doing. You're just talking. You're not listening. If I tell a man that he is literally at home making Klan outfits, and you don't review that, you don't refer to that as pushback, what the fuck you want me to do?
What is it? I said you need to start doing hard.
What is that?
Every time.
What is
every
that?
Time, Tim. Not just once in a blue fucking moon. Not just once in a blue moon. You're gonna put but get your little white here now.
So now you don't went from.
You see how mad you are with me? You see how mad you are with me?
Because you're lying. Because you're lying.
No, I'm not lying.
Yes, you are.
Bring somebody else up with me. Bring somebody else up with me, and they'll tell you to your face.
You lying.
Bring them. They'll tell you. We was over here last night talking on another person's line, saying that you don't push back. You're a cupcake fluffy.
You lying. First you went. First you just went from you don't push back. Then I tell you, you don't push back often enough.
You gotta push back hard, Tim. Get some kahunas. Quit being a little bit pushback. I go straight ham on the asses. I tell the asses, shut the hell up and bring me some receipts, or go on with your bad asses. Go. Oh no, you don't do that, do you? Oh no. Huh, Tim? No.
Let me tell you something, lady.
Maggots. Oh no.
Let me tell you something, lady. I try my best.
You mad, aren't you, Tim? Is your dick hard? You mad, Timmy Tim?
Oh.
Are you mad, Pookie?
When you got dick, when you got this much dick, there's no way for it to be soft. Yes, it's hard.
We gotta push it up with a jack, man. Come on now.
Anyway,
don't get that shit twisted. Not today. But let me tell you something, Tim. I promise you, on God, that you don't push back hard like that. And then if you do push back, you want a cookie. No, Negro, your ass is on the line.
TikTok took her down. I didn't do it. TikTok took her down. I guess somebody was calling and reporting on it. Let me just say this in regards to, because I saw there were people in the comment section agreeing with her. Look, if I ran the program the way she is suggesting, it would just be trash talking 24/7. I mean, if she wants me to go and tell my MAGA viewers that they're sucking dick and their balls is hanging. That's not this kind of program. The civilization of that is absent. I'd rather have a civilized conversation. If somebody is crossing the line, you can see it. I don't need to start commenting on their genitals and all of the stuff that she does to make a point. You can see when even if you think I'm not pushing back, you can see when somebody is looking idiotic or making a fool of themselves or saying something embarrassing or even racist. You can see that. I don't need to go into the realm of where she is at and say all that, gross shit to people. So that's why I don't do it. I leave that to her. That's what she does. I leave that to her. I give folks plenty of time to speak freely on the program. If you want to talk like that, so be it. I just don't do it. I don't think it's necessary. I think I'm able to do a decent job conveying a point without ever having to resort to that sort of language. Which is also, I'll make it clear to you, this is something we also do in the program. We quite often criticize President Trump for doing that. How would it look, and I'll even state it to her, that she cannot criticize President Trump for any of the shit that he says, like telling women, shut up, piggy, and calling them dummies. She can't criticize any of them because she's doing the same thing. She's doing the same stuff. So the point I'm trying to make is we believe in doing things in a dignified manner, having a civilized conversation, not just constantly talking about genitalia and all of that shit. It's just not the path we want to take. Anyway, tap the screen, get the likes on up to 55,000. Jay says, longest 7 minutes of my life. You know the difference between most of my conversations with my last caller is this time I actually was calling her out on that because I had a conversation with a Straight Talk Commerce far right MAGA. This guy is so far to the right. He said that President Trump's face should be on all four slots on Mount Rushmore. And I was questioning some of the things he was saying. There was plenty of pushback. But because I wasn't talking about his genitals and telling him to perform fellatio and things like that, I didn't push back hard enough in her mind. I wish it was on my platform because I would play some clips from it and let you hear it, but I was absolutely pushing back. It's just not to the level she believes is what qualifies as a pushback. I don't know, Tim. Taliban had flip-flops and some old AKs and they outlasted the United States. Yes and no. I get what you're saying. You're saying, and thank you, Alter Ego. Somebody's showing your boy some love. Thank you for the support, Alter Ego. I'm getting hammered here. I'm in the trenches. What you're saying, Jay Sid, in regards to resisting tyranny, he's saying that the Taliban was able to resist a tyrannical government, which would have been us, the United States. And he said they did it with flip-flops and some old AK-47s. I don't know. Listen. I'm trying to see how I can say this without it sounding like spin, because I don't know if I would really say that the Taliban outlasted the USA. I don't look if America's tyrannical towards its citizens, they have some kind of goal. In regards to Afghanistan, we never really wanted to permanently occupy Afghanistan. We did what we wanted to do over there. I mean, and we left. If there was still a reason to be there, we would have killed more of them. I don't think they really outlasted us. We didn't kill them all. If that's the point you want to make, but they paid if you got the numbers on how many of us they took out in the Afghanistan war versus how many of them we took out, it's going to be a significant difference. And we didn't go full tilt on them. We still was trying to, for the most part, only go at the enemy combatants. We weren't trying to go after just the population as a whole. So I don't even know if I would agree with you on that. But anyway, looking in the comments, Trump really sucks, says user. He's our president, though. We released them all, says Duce. Released who? Let me go back to the box. And we'll make it happen with, I think it says Vibert, Vangeant or something. Probably about 8-1 KIA. So you said we killed about 8 Afghanis for every 1 American? If that's the case, then they did put up some real resistance. I would think it would have been worse than that. 8-1 is fairly good for the Afghans. I mean, if we invade Iran and they get an 8-1, and they only have an 8-1 deficit, that's going to be viewed as a loss for America. We don't want. I mean, because there's 90 million people in Iran. 8-1. Let's say we take out 80,000 Iranians, and they take out 10,000 Americans. I don't think we would count that as a win at all. The only reason they outlast us because of the idiotic American government said out loud that we were able to. The only reason they outlasted us is because the idiotic of American government said out loud that work were able to catch old boy off radio signals, and they were. I don't get the whatever. I understand what you're trying to type, but I don't. It's hard to read it. I don't know the whole message there. We don't need to save the world. We need to save America. I think if the Democrats run with the whole "Make America Great," America First slogans of the Trump administration, I think the Democrats, if they run, their campaign slogan should be "Fix America First." Fix America first. We don't need to make sure the people in Venezuela are no longer being oppressed, or the protesters in Iran are safe, or Cuba is not treated. Fix America first. That should be the slogan for Democrats. Fix America first. Are you hearing from Trump is folks that are being oppressed in other countries, how we got to do something about it? Nigerian Christians are being persecuted. We got to go do something. What about all the people here? Go fix Los Angeles, all them motherfuckers laying in the street that are all Americans. Some of them are veterans. Go fix that. Fix what happened to America first? You sold all them hats, all that merchandise, and now you in Iran? What the fuck? Fix America first should be the slogan of the Democrat Party going forward. It would be a good play on what Trump did, Trump came up with, and it would certainly be a counter that everybody could understand. You know damn well they don't care about that. It's about stealing their natural resources. I agree with that, but you got to hold them accountable to what they say. I agree with you 100%. We don't give a shit about oppressed people. We've deported people right back into those oppressed environments. We don't care nothing about Iranian protesters being oppressed or any of that shit. If we got an Iranian in this country, we'll happily deport them right back into Iran. So we don't care nothing about that, but you got to give an excuse for why you're doing what you're doing that people will get behind. So if you say you're saving innocent people from a rogue government, people will accept that, even though it's not the actual mission. Such as Trump saying we're stopping fentanyl from coming into the United States. Sounded like something we could get behind, right? No, we didn't. Have you heard anything else about stopping fentanyl once he got control of Venezuela? We're trying to bring up guest Claude YF. We'll try that. Stop, what does that say? Stop racism. Good luck with that. Black man trying to read. Very interesting. Obviously, you have little to no black friends at all. Would you have said that to Colin Powell? He can't read. He doesn't care about us. All I really know is they don't really care about us. Shout out to the late king of pop. We'll make it happen with Lewis. Good evening, Lewis. Am I on Wi-Fi? Why the hell are all these guests not? It's not bringing up the guests I'm trying. And it didn't do it again. I think maybe something's going on with TikTok. It was a con, Tim says here. Yeah. I'm not going to disagree, even though I got a lot of MAGA that still suggest that Trump's the best president we've ever had. Yeah, there's some con involved. I'm certain, based on what I've seen so far, that Trump made a bunch of campaign promises he had no intention of delivering on. Yeah, we can start with the Epstein files and all this list and shit, but there's plenty more. A lot of economic promises, lowering gas prices and groceries and, the Ukraine-Russian war. Yeah, he made a lot of promises he had no intention on delivering on. I agree with that. Trump said he's not considering yeah, we talked about that yesterday. He said he's not considering the American financial situation. It's about Iran, not the American people. And I've covered that a few times because here's my take on this. Tulsi Gabbard, his intelligence officer, testifies before Congress that Iran is not developing a nuclear weapon. Trump on Air Force One tells the press she don't know what she's talking about. They are developing a nuclear weapon. Well, and then he continues by saying not only are they developing a nuclear weapon, they would have used it on us if we didn't attack them. He said they were weeks away from developing a nuclear weapon, and had we not attacked them, they would have used it on us. So if they were that close to killing at least thousands of Americans, and your intelligence lady, Tulsi Gabbard, comes and says, no, there's no threat at all, you should fire her immediately. She put us at risk of all being killed if what he is saying is true. Why the hell does she still have a job? If you're telling me they would have developed a nuclear bomb within a few weeks and they would have used it by now, and the lady responsible for telling you that said they don't have anything at all, why the hell is she still employed? And since she said they didn't have it and you said they did, who told you that? Where'd you get that information from since you didn't get it from the lady who's responsible for telling you? Who told you that then? These are questions that you'll never get the answer from the Trump administration. You'll never get those answers, but something about that don't make sense. Either they didn't have a nuclear weapon, like Tulsi Gabbard said, and you're lying and attacked them anyway, or Trump is telling the truth that they did, and you're keeping an incompetent administrative member in Tulsi Gabbard employed. It's one or the other. Either you lied or you're continuing to deliberately employ incompetence. It's one or the other. Tulsi Gabbard should be fired. If you're going to say they had nuclear weapons and she didn't know what she was talking about, then that's the point where you throw her under the bus and scapegoat her immediately. Why is she still there? That don't make any sense. American saving time. Saving time how? The president received information in many different ways. Not all the time is she informed. It's her job to know that. It is her job to know that. I mean, in fact, if somebody calls and they're telling Trump that Iran is, let me get my head of intelligence on the line. I would bridge her in the phone call. Why isn't she on the line? You got some CIA operatives. I would be telling Tosi that. You got somebody you can do a follow-up with this? Do we have some assets in the area? She should be involved in the information coming in. Whoever's telling Trump that, if she don't told him the opposite, immediately pick up the phone and call. Why don't you know this? Then I'm going to bridge you in so that you do know this. He ain't explained none of that. You're not allowed to miss. Buckeye says, are you not allowed to misspeak? Really? We're talking about a nation that was going to develop a nuclear bomb and kill thousands of Americans. It is your job to tell me that. You don't come back with, well, oops, I guess I just slipped up on this one. No. Yes, you're not allowed to misspeak when that's your fucking job. You don't get a second chance to do that. That's a fuck up of epidemic proportions. If you mess that up, you got to go. No, you're not allowed to misspeak on whether or not somebody's going to nuke us. Let me go back to the box. That's crazy you even asked that. Sherbert, good evening. Welcome to the pro. Am I allowed to make one mistake? It's like the last guy left with Hiroshima. Whoa, I thought the U.S. was playing. Am I not allowed to make a mistake? Sherbert, good evening.
How's it going, Tim?
I don't know, man. I don't even know. Do you trust China?
Kind of. But I mean, it's definitely within, a gigantic grain of salt, a salt lamp worth of salt of trusting people with how spies have acted forever. But I don't trust this administration to actually vet people and keep communication secret and the way it needs to be to get these things done. So there's no trust anywhere. So, But for the most part, I trust their cars. Those are cool.
Here's one of the problems I have, though. Trump recently, in the last few weeks, admitted that China was giving Iran weapons and intelligence. So we went to war with Iran, and the first thing China started doing is helping our adversary. Why would we rush to make a deal with them? Would you trust that? A country that was just trying to have your people potentially killed by your enemy, you're in their country now willing to trust them only a few weeks later? That makes sense?
So, Tim, we're starting to feel the other side of America's might that we've done across the world forever.
Explain.
That we've fucked over other people and given arms to, cause rebellions and regime changes across the world for like 50 years, 100 years. So, we're starting to feel it because we've got such a dumb president that we have lowered ourselves to that point. But there's nothing new here. It's just we're feeling it.
You believe that Trump is a dumb president?
100%.
I don't think
the man has never made a good deal that I've ever seen, except for all of his lackeys that are milking the government right now.
Yeah, I gotta disagree. I don't think he's dumb. You ever heard of a teacher that say something like, such and such is a really smart kid. They just don't apply themselves well.
No, I think you're glorifying a billionaire boomer that got everything he ever fucking wanted and was best friends with the Epstein files, which has set the world on fire. So no, I don't think he's a smart man. Because anytime I've ever heard him talk, it's usually something dumb. Maybe when he was in his 30s, 40s, he was somewhat intelligent. Maybe. Still an asshole.
I think...
But
I think he comes...
No way. You listen to him talk, he couldn't tell you what a tariff really is. He just goes, oh, they've been screwing us over, but we're going to win. And that's not tariffs, you asshole.
No, I'm not saying smart from that angle. I think he succeeds at getting what he wants. A better America, a more financially advantageous America. I don't think that ever was his goal. I think his goal was to go in there and perform a really big heist. And he is doing very well at doing that. I don't think all the stuff you're talking about, all the stuff that we expected from a president, that ain't what he's applying himself to do. That ain't what it's like. It's like the student that I mentioned that don't apply himself well. I only took this class because I like the bitch that's sitting in the front row. And because I took the class, now me and her went on several dates and I got a chance to tap that ass. That's what he's there for. He ain't there for the class. So when you point to tariffs and he don't know this, he ain't there for that. He's there for the grift.
And he's successful at that.
Yes.
But that
So
doesn't
he's
mean that
smart.
dumb
He's
people that
smart.
grift him. No, he is not. He has stumbled his way in with stupid bravado. He's not a smart man because he didn't write his book and he's never made a good deal and has gone bankrupt 3 different times.
He's gone
Maybe more. I'm actually not sure.
Sherbert, he's went bankrupt numerous times, but every time he went bankrupt, his personal finances continue to go up. It's a grift.
When his dad died, he got $300 million. And then CBS paid him another $7 million. He doesn't have anything his own. No,
But
fuck you, Tim.
But his
Flippin' motherfucker.
His wealth
You just said he's a big heist man, and then you want to call him smart.
What? You can't be smart on the other side of the law?
Okay. All of the supporters, like Straight Talk and MAGA Reacts, they're dumb. We've been screaming this for 10 years, that this man is a con man. I've got you saying it straight up. That's what his plan was. And they're just, no, he's still great. A+++. Fuck you guys.
Which to me shows how smart he is that he can literally be robbing your house and have you thinking, he's robbing your house and got you thinking he's the lawn care guy. I mean, it's like fucking George Clooney and Brad Pitt in Ocean's 11. I mean, they're on the wrong side of the law, but they're very smart. They're getting away with what they're doing.
If you say so, Tim.
He's literally a guy who's on video saying he's not a Christian, and he's made millions of dollars selling Bibles to them. That's like literally selling ice to Eskimos. He's very smart. You just don't like what he's using his brain for.
The best part about that is that's after he had that clip of them asking, so what's your favorite verse? And he goes, I don't want to talk about it. It's personal.
And yet they still bought the Bible.
Side of the book, New or Old Testament. That's too personal.
And yet they still bought the Bible.
Still bought the
Yes.
Bibles.
So I mean, look, you don't like what he's applying. Like I said, he's like the student that ain't applying himself to the class, but he's getting what he wants out of that class.
Yeah, but there's a million people that go, hey, you see that's a grift, right? Don't email the Nigerian prince. And they go, but he could make me money.
Well, like I said, the man is getting done what he wanted to get done, which is a legacy, which is his name all over America, and to make a lot of money off America. And I think he's doing better at that than anybody we've ever seen.
And that's why I hate these MAGA conservatives, because they voted for a clear, honest grift, and they think he's saving the world. And I can't respect these people anymore when it's so incredibly clear. It's been incredibly clear. And I've got you who defends everything.
I ain't defending shit. I'm not the defender. I'm the explainer.
You have to. It's for the show. But I've got you saying, can't even counteract. It was the quick, clear grift. He got away with it.
He's still getting away with it.
He should be in prison, but MAGA Reacts ain't gonna say that's okay.
He's still getting away with it. I mean, I feel confident that if he was to step down right now, he's made more money in the last year and a half or whatever he's been as president than probably multiple presidents combined that was in the office. And he's at the same, while he's making all this money to the tune of billions of dollars, he got folks believing, well, I didn't take a salary, so I did you a favor. I mean, if it ain't smart, I don't know what to call it. People is actually celebrating when he didn't take the $450,000 or whatever it is we pay him every year. He's a great guy. This dude's getting the whole jets and shit out of this.
I'm pretty sure he's made more money while being president than all of any congressman in the history of Congress, like combined.
Yeah, he's making a killing.
So, like, why is this okay for all of these Stray Talks and DJ Julios? And I can't understand, Tim. That's the fascination of your show, is just listening to these psychopaths just not understand what's right in front of their face.
Well, I understand. As somebody who went to a couple of Trump rallies, I often say the energy, the way you feel when you leave it, you feel, I mean, even though he's made a bunch of campaign promises he didn't keep up on, people still have faith that those things are going to come true. He's going to expose the deep state. He's going to lock up a bunch of crooked ass liberals. He's going to end up doing very well for our economy. He's going to get all these illegal immigrants. He's going to control the transgender community, close the border. He's going to do all this great stuff. And a lot of them folks, it's just like a chick. You go out and abuse the hell out of her, but she still believes the original promises you made on that first date at the park. That you're going to be the man. You're going to be Prince Charming. Yeah, she got a black eye right now. She lost her job because of you, but she still believes in what you originally promised. And MAGA still believes in that stuff. They still are holding out with faith that he's going to come through.
All right. Well, that's kind of how dictatorships are made. And I'm not down for that, Tim. I'm going to bitch and moan and scream and be a pain in the ass all the way down, because that's not what America was ever designed to be. And fuck you guys for that.
How about this? In the comments, Buckeye says, perhaps it's because MAGA knows how bad the other side would be. So say what you want about Trump, Kamala Harris would be worse.
Look at every goddamn chart ever made that goes over every major statistic over the last 40 fucking years, and every time it's a Democrat in place, they bring it to where it was and then higher. Then a Republican comes in, fucks it all the way down. Then a Democrat comes in, brings it back up and higher, and then Republicans fuck it up again. No. I don't know where you get this mindset. Well, but it has literally never been true. Of all of modern fucking history, Bullseye or Buckshot or whatever the fuck your stupid name is, go learn something. Jesus.
Oh my God.
Just because you don't like gay people, just because you don't like helping out the hungry, doesn't mean the other side's going to ruin everything.
Well, I think what you're pointing out, how the Democrats have done everything from balance the budget and in the deficit and things like that. But you're right. Under the Republicans, the complaint is, look, I don't give a damn about finances. I don't want you having gay and transgender people around my kids, or I don't want you letting people in the country. We don't know who the hell they are, coming from insane asylums and prisons. That's the stuff that they are also focused on.
You remember stem cell research being blocked under Bush?
Yeah.
That was also very stupid.
Yeah, because Nancy Reagan needed it. I do not
like most conservatives when it comes to their policy. And they always go, oh, but the policy. Oh, but the policy. I don't like your fucking policy. Jesus.
Well, I mean, a lot of folks favor the direction of the country that Trump has promised over Kamala Harris, Biden, or Obama.
I'm not down with cruelty, okay? I feel like that's the main point here. And every single time, everything gets worse and these power bills go skyrocketing high because we deregulated them and we can't tell them, hey, you can't do that. But no, the other side would just ruin everything by letting us have cheap cars. Oh, no.
Well, listen, maybe it's that Trump has simply done a much better job at selling his vision to the American people than the Democrats have. So that could have something to do with it. Well,
if these people are so willing to listen to a con man, I don't like you. I never will.
But that's what politics is about, Sherbert. Just like if you go door to door selling vacuum cleaners, you got to tell that person what you think they want to hear. Sometimes you may say the vacuum can do but shit that it really can't do. But I
really don't like salesmen either.
No.
I don't like that mindset. I would never do that job because I don't believe in doing that. So, if you want to be lied to, and I know a lot of people do, I'm not one of them. And I know there's a lot of people on here that also don't like being lied to.
I think if you're a politician and you're 100% honest with the people, you'll never get elected. Because the guy lying is going to make them feel a lot better than you. Huh?
But this is magnitudes higher in the I can't trust a single goddamn thing. Magnitudes higher.
Plus or minus a few lies.
But I've been on here for a while, Tim.
All right.
Have a good night.
Sherbert, thanks for coming through as always. Appreciate it. I see him. What to say in the comments? Thank you, Buckeye, Bullseye, or what he Buckshot. the wordplay you did on your name. Tap the screen, folks. Get your boy on up to 90,000, if you will. Few of you folks help your boy out with the hat, mustache, TikTok cap goals. Just a few. By the way, I have a poll going on YouTube. Strong language here. And I only posted this because somebody made the statement. I think it was Gangster Grandma. The poll asked the question, does MAGA want to bring back Jim Crow? Yikes. Yeah, that's strong. But she said it, so I figured I'd do a poll on it. So far, we've only had 50 some odd participants. And out of the 50 some odd voters, 53% of respondents said yes. 46% said no. So around almost half and half. Almost half and half. So MAGA is only about 30% of the country. So that's obviously more than just MAGA, probably in my little impromptu poll. Bring back Jim. You know what? You know some of the things that were in Jim Crow? Like, I mean, in addition to you can't eat in certain restaurants and stuff like, I mean, they had shit out there like, if you are driving and you approach an intersection at the same time a white guy does, a white driver does, you have to let the white driver go first. They had shit like that in there. I mean, Jim Crow was crazy. I mean, some of it depending on, you get in some of those really deep southern areas, they had some really wild laws, cussing at a white man, could get you thrown in there. Just crazy stuff. So you think MAGA wants to bring that stuff back? Just pure Caucasian dominance by law? Yikes. Might be time to go international again. Looking in the comments, they're screaming reverse racism just for that to happen. Well, yeah, you're right. I don't know if they want that to happen, but there are no shortage of MAGA that are screaming reverse racism. I mean, Charlie Kirk was screaming reverse racism. The rolling back of DEI, affirmative action, the Voting Rights Act, all of that stuff is because they were saying that they were getting discriminated against by blacks. So yeah, they're definitely yelling reverse racism. Before we go to the next caller, tap the screen, get us up to 90,000. Claude in the comments says, I have a question for you, Tim. Claude, feel free to fire away. And while we're waiting for your question, how about the Biden's shell company, says Chris. At this point, I think anybody bringing up Biden at this point in terms of corruption or crony capitalism, any of that shit you just lack credibility at this point. I mean, remember the Biden crime family or Burisma, all of the no bid contracts and shit that Barron, Trump, and all of them are getting. I mean, when Hunter was hanging around his dad on Air Force One, we're talking about how much it's costing the taxpayers and he has no right to be there. Trump just took his whole family with him on that trip to China. Not a single word. I'm not saying that Hunter did not use his dad's name to make money. I'm not going to pretend like that didn't happen, that Hunter didn't get jobs that he weren't qualified for. But you're going to tell me Barron Trump at the age of 20 getting no bid defense contracts is legit? It's too late to complain about fraud. It's too late. If you're overlooking what's going on now, but you were all into it on Biden, Hunter Biden made pennies compared to what the Trump children are making. Pennies. They're making far more money than that. So, I don't know how to look at it other than it's just a bunch of hypocrisy in action. Because they were all over Hunter Biden making money, and they're just ignoring Trump children, Trump associates. They're just making money all around them, man. People making a killing around Trump. I don't think Hunter Biden made anywhere near 10% to the big guy, really. Looking in the comments, falsifying documents and exaggerating property prices. He got charged for that. Wasn't that part of the Alvin Bragg case? Man, quit letting bottom boys in the channel. What is a bottom boy? Is that some LGBTQ shit? Let's go back to the box. We'll make it happen with MAGA Reacts. Republicans rich and Democrats are simps, says T2. Well, first of all, if you never been to West Virginia, Eastern Kentucky, rural Louisiana, rural Mississippi, if you think Republicans are rich, you ain't traveled much because there's a lot of dirt fucking poor Republicans out there. MAGA, good evening.
Tim,
Yes.
we're never mad at Hunter Biden making money. We're mad because he was selling us out to Ukraine and to Russia and to China. Nobody cared that he's making money. I mean,
Biden crime family, what was the crime?
selling us out to Ukraine. Fucking getting that guy fired so this gas company could do illegal shit that hurts America. I don't know the exact details.
Yeah,
but
I don't know the exact details of it, but I know they
you're
work.
getting money from Russia versus, the Trump guys, they're all getting their money here in America.
I don't believe that. They seized
money.
Well, first of all, Qatar, that jet coming from Qatar, they just decided to give him a free $400 million gift. Why?
It's going to the government. It's not going to
Why?
him.
Well, why would they do that, even to the government?
It's one of our allies. Our allies could give us gifts, but they give it to the government. That's different than having a job where the money's going straight into your pocket.
To me, saying is going
I'm not saying the shit Trump's doing is not suspicious. It's very suspicious, but it seems to be all on the American side.
I'm discounting your notion of it. I'm disagreeing with you on going to the government. That's like all of a sudden some company, while you're working for the government, decides to give you a bunch of expensive office furniture. Well, it ain't mine, it's going to the government. You're the one that's using it. It's only benefiting you right now. So it wouldn't happen if
he's already got a fucking plane. He's got his own plane. He's got Air Force One. He's got all the planes he could ever fucking want. Do you think that's how they're gonna buy Trump?
Yeah.
Giving him a plane?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do.
That's the other thing. Like, it's a difference when you're like poor and you get rich doing this shit. But if you're already rich and you're just doing the same shit you've always been doing, I mean, the thing with Hunter Biden, he's doing some shit that he was never into. All of a sudden, he's in Ukraine working at a gas company versus Trump and all of them have been doing this shit all their lives. If he wasn't president, he'd still be doing the same shit.
Okay, so Trump gets up there and makes 1 million negative comments about e-vehicles, the horsepower, they don't have the range. The man is on video saying all kinds of awful shit about e-vehicles. Elon Musk donates $350 million to his campaign, and suddenly he's selling them at the White House. You don't see anything in that.
Yeah, because it's one thing, he's not against them. He's against them.
He's against him. He said all that negative shit.
He's against forcing people to buy them. And at the time, a bunch of places had rules where by 2030 or whatever year, we were going to go electric only. And the Biden people were pushing us toward electric only.
Hold on.
He always said if you like them, they're great if you like them. I mean, they're good here in Florida, but they're suck in Colorado.
Wait, hold on. Let me explain this to you. He says a bunch of negative shit about e-vehicles. Elon Musk donates a bunch of money to him. He's selling them on the White House lawn. He has a falling out with Elon. He gets the car off the White House lawn and says it's been sold. Fuck that car. You don't see nothing in this. The minute when him and Elon are doing well, he's selling the car. Him and Elon falls out. He's getting rid of the car all of a sudden again. You don't see nothing about that. And he hasn't promoted e-vehicles since.
That's him being thin-skinned.
That's him being a fucking con man. That's him being a con man. The only reason he was selling that car at the White House lawn is as a favor to Elon. Same thing about him being strict on immigration. Elon comes along and suddenly South Afrikaners have a place in America. He wasn't going to do that before them.
He's strict on illegal immigration. He's never really been that strict on legal immigration. I mean, he wants the rules to be fair, but I mean, 50 people from fucking South Africa, that's really what you have your panties in a bunch for?
He's never been strict
I
on
mean, you want me to show you videos of like the 10,000 people at the southern border?
No. I want to show you videos to prove to you your comment about he's never been strict on legal immigration is a bunch of bullshit. He banned all the third world countries, tried to ban all the Muslims. He is strict on legal immigration.
That had to do with safety, Tim. That had nothing to do with immigration. It has to do with safety because there's a lot of terroristic shit happening at the time. When
Everybody that believes in Allah is a safety threat to the United States? Everybody?
I mean, everybody. No, just the people from those countries.
That ain't what he
They
said.
were very dangerous at the time.
He didn't say countries. He said a total and complete ban on all Muslims.
All right. I mean, you're bringing up shit from like 15, not 15, like 11
Bringing
years
up shit
ago,
that he
when
did
you
as
had
president.
Issues with terrorism. I mean, terrorism is less of an issue now, and I don't see it. I see him being friends with the Saudis and being friends with all these Muslims.
Why would he ban all third world countries from coming here legally?
What do you mean? Because some of those countries have very.
I said all. I didn't say some. I said all.
They're not. I mean, people are still coming from those countries. I mean, that's
Why would he? You didn't. Why would he ban all third world countries?
It's true.
Why would he ban all third world
People are
countries?
coming from Somalia.
Why would he? Why would he even
right now.
try to ban all third world countries?
I mean, he was worried about security at the time.
So all third world countries are represent a security threat to America. All of them.
Yes, that's usually where terrorists are recruited.
Where are all the examples of terrorists from third world countries coming to America and doing shit? Do you even have two?
Over there, Tim, and the goal is to keep the terrorism over there and not bring them over here. I mean, it's also like a campaign slogan. It's not like 100% accurate, but it's accurate enough where like maybe he should do it.
I don't see the threat. So is it a threat based on things that have
You guys
happened?
don't see the threat in anything. You guys don't see the threat in fucking anything. I mean, fuck, you could have a guy with a bomb vest walking in front of your house and be like, I don't see the threat. He still hasn't blown up.
So you feel that people coming here from third world
I'd rather
countries.
be safe than sorry. That's all I'm saying. You're right. There might be no threat. There most likely no threat, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. And it's not even, he doesn't even have to ban the people. He just has to have like a strong rhetoric, and that's usually enough to fucking have these people think twice, because most people think the world's way more secure. They think America's way more secure than it is.
No, I think America's crazy. And I see in the comments, Buckeye said you're being too.
Everyone thinks like everything's so secure, like you know. But you see how like the shooter got through the.
No, they don't. We got kids that go to school and don't come home. They know we ain't secure. In the comments, you got Buckeye saying you're being too hard on MAGA. You better back off. I wish I could save your comment for Gangsta Grandma who claims I don't push back on MAGA. That's exactly what's going on.
That's fucking her being a fascist. She's being a fascist, trying to shut you up and trying to stop you from fucking talking to other people.
Yeah.
That's just them being fascist, because you better say what they want and nothing else. Otherwise, they're gonna fucking attack you and call you all kinds of names. That's their fascism.
But let me get back to attacking you, because I think what you said in regards to Trump doesn't have a problem with legal immigration is crazy. That guy has a lot of problems.
I'm just Again, I'm still manning it just like you do. I don't agree with it, but I'm telling you why he did it.
I don't even see validity in why he did it. He's claiming it's a safety threat without even showing any evidence that any safety was in jeopardy. Where are all these third world immigrants that were actually did they even arrest anybody that stop them from doing terroristic acts? How many immigrants have they even stopped? There is no evidence that these people are dangerous like that.
Listen, they stop terrorists at the border all the time. At least that's what they say. They're always saying, especially under Biden, they're always saying, oh, this many terrorists crossed the border and he let them through and shit. And supposedly Trump stopped them. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
According to them, they're stopping terrorists.
According to them, they're coming from the same. Yeah, according to them, they're all coming from insane asylums and prisons, and yet you've never heard a single name of an asylum or a prison that all these people are coming from. They just tell you shit because they know you're going to believe it. Appreciate that, Buckeye. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, and that's also true, but guess what? Better safe than sorry.
You're not safe. You're not safe. They making up lies to make you think you're safe, and then they can do whatever they want and have you, at least I better safe than sorry. The threat didn't exist.
90% of safety is thinking that you're safe. Most of the time, you're fucking safe, but it helps to sell the message that you are safe so you feel it. Because, especially when it comes to safety, it's more about feeling safe than actually being safe.
What they're doing is they're they're lying to you and telling you a threat exists that does not.
They're making you feel safe.
No, they're
You're
making
not
you.
fucking
No, they're
worried
making you
that
feel.
every time
They're
you go
making
out
you
to
feel
fucking a shopping mall,
scared.
you're gonna get killed.
They're not making you feel safe. They're making you feel scared, so you think that they're coming to save the day. Just like with the voting
It
shit.
is with them.
Yeah, just like with the voting shit. They're trying to convince you that a bunch of illegals are illegally voting so that they can pass an act to stop it, but they don't show you the people who are actually doing it. They're making up shit to get them an excuse.
Same thing with Democrats and healthcare and all the shit they fucking do. Dude. That's part of the fucking game.
We don't believe it
We're gonna
like
fix
that.
healthcare, we're gonna fix
Yeah.
homelessness.
Now you're
we're gonna do
deflecting.
this and that, and they get into power and they don't do shit either.
Now
I
you're
mean,
now you're deflecting. But the point I'm making is they're
it's
giving
the
you.
game, Tim. I don't know why you want me to explain the game to you. You know the game.
Well, at least you're now admitting it's a game and not trying to defend the shit. You're making it sound like it was legit. You started out with, well, he don't have a problem with legal migrants. Now you're willing to admit, no, it's a game. He does have a problem with them.
That's not. You see, you're fucking twisting my words. I'm just saying, whether he has a problem with them or not, he has to make you feel safe. That he's working on fucking keeping America safe. Versus Biden and them, where it made you feel that the fucking border is open. You know, whether the fact on the ground is it open or not, I'm pretty sure.
I don't see where our jails are filled with all these illegal immigrants. I don't know. You know, getting rid of illegal immigrants is not going to make America safer. Chicago or St. Louis or some of these dangerous cities in America. Now that Trump has become president and he's starting to, them cities ain't getting safer because the criminals are Americans. They're not these people.
Yeah. Well, we can't get rid of the American criminals.
Right. So you're not going to be safer. How many schools have been shot up by an illegal immigrant? I guess my caller had a call. All right, we'll move it on. Tap the screen, but you're not going to be safer by that. I don't think that ever was the actual goal. The goal is we don't like those people. We need to get rid of them. And we need to give the people something they can get behind that would justify us doing what we're doing. It's the same thing I mentioned with the Venezuelan drug boats and you know, all the other stuff we're doing overseas. Give the people something they can get behind so that they'll be okay with us going into a country and doing what we really want to do. Greenland is a perfect example. I had one of my callers on here yesterday from Greenland, and it's about the rare earth minerals that are in Greenland. We want access to that. But just going to a country and robbing them of their resources is not something that most Americans can get behind. So what do? You do exactly what Trump did on immigrants and on voting. Tell them something that'll scare the shit out of them, and then they'll be okay with us getting there. Tell them that Russia may fire weapons over the polar ice caps, and we need Greenland so we can put anti-missile batteries on it. That way, they're fearful that if they don't back us taking Greenland, missiles will come raining on Minnesota or something like that. They'll come over the polar ice caps and they'll come raining down on South Dakota or you know, Wisconsin something. Tell them that and they'll get behind it. And then once we're in there, we can go after the rare earth minerals. But that was the goal, is the rare earth minerals. It ain't got nothing to do with providing security over Greenland. That's just an excuse. Just like going into Venezuela had nothing to do with stopping the flow of fentanyl. Because Venezuela is not known as the fentanyl capital of the world. If we really were out to stop the flow of fentanyl, what about Colombia, Peru, Mexico? What about all the other countries that are known for sending hard drugs over here to a much greater degree than Venezuela? Once we took over Venezuela, you never heard them talking about going after drugs again. Because it wasn't about that. It was just playing on your heartstrings to give you the reason to back them going into Venezuela. Looking in the comments here, Venezuelan country was the best it's ever been. What does that say in the comments again? Hang on a second. Venezuela's country was the best it's ever been. DICE, the U.S. influence in the 60s, they didn't know what to do with their reserves. I don't get what you're saying there. Venezuela was the biggest shipping port for the East, man. Yeah. I mean, look, sometimes you elect a bad dictator or a bad leader. I mean, there's folks who are saying right now America used to be a thriving country, and the superpower of the world. And perhaps maybe we have now elected the wrong leader that may change the direction in this country. Just like in Cuba, Havana used to be a tourist capital. Just like you're mentioning in Caracas in Venezuela used to be a great place until, they got a good, well, to me, what happened in Venezuela has less to do with what they elected and more to do with they didn't play ball with the United States. Once you don't play ball with the United States and we start putting, trade embargoes and sanctions on you, that can fuck up a country. Because we can talk about how harsh the Castros were on Cuba and how horrible they treated their own people. But what America did to Cuba is even worse. I mean, we got them using equipment back from the 1950s, their cars and shit. Now we got them in the dark. Now they're living in the dark because we're not letting fuel go there. What the Castros did to them was not as bad as that. So what we did to them is even worse. So there's more history to that. We always make it sound like we're the good guys because we don't tell you about the countries we're fucking up. But we are starving those people for fun, says King Finn. Yeah. It's sick to think somebody would take pleasure in doing that, but yeah, they are. Cuba's paying a heavy, heavy price from the Trump administration. What we're doing to the Cubans is really fucking bad. Looking in the comments here. We'll make it happen with MAGA Mission. Oh, did we send that out? Good evening, if it brings them up. How about Biden's shell companies? Look, I'm not disagreeing that the Bidens, hell, probably even Obama, some of them make money off the presidency. But what I am saying is that Trump is making a lot more. Significant amount more. Trump is making a lot more money off of deals and stuff going on with the presidency than Biden did, than Obama did, than Clinton did, than Bush did. To me, Trump's mission, as opposed to running the country, seems to be just focused on how much money he can make. To me, he's actually put the legacy and the generational wealth of his family. To me, it appears as if that's more important than running the country. We're not doing very well economically right now. There's no reason he should be getting all of those lavish purchases. This ain't the time to be building a ballroom. And he started out saying the ballroom was going to come from donors. It was only going to cost $200 million. Then it was $300 million. Then it was $450 million. The donors, I guess, disappeared. Now he wants us to pay $1 billion for the ballroom. I think they said refurbishing the Qatar jet is going to cost numbers that are way up there, like $100 million or something, whatever they said to make that jet safe for the president to be in. Here's a kicker on that jet. They're working on the new Air Force One anyway. Trump gave the approval for a new Air Force One during his first term, and he used to have a picture of it in the White House. So the Qatar jet, even if you listen to Trump, is only going to be flown in by him, and then it's going to go in the Smithsonian or something like that. Why should taxpayers pay $100 million for a jet that's only going to be flown for a couple years and then put in a fucking museum? That's a waste of taxpayer money. The Air Force One that's currently around was perfectly usable. He's the same dude telling you that your daughter only needs one doll for Christmas or 2 pencils, but he needs a new jet? Like I said, to me, his focus seems more on legacy wealth and, just shit for himself than it does the country. There's no need for that. That is just a lavish, unnecessary purchase that jet was. Just to put it in a Smithsonian? Really? Same thing with the Tribunal Arch in D.C. That ain't needed right now, and he's rushing to get that done. We don't need a big-ass arch in D.C. right now, just a show of power or strength or patriotism. That ain't needed right now in this economy. Be nice to do it later on, but not right now. Ballroom, all of the stuff he's doing is like that. Just a bunch of lavish purchases. The same thing with the military parade we had in D.C. last year on his birthday. That ain't necessary. It didn't accomplish anything. It's just a waste of money in a time where folks are struggling. Look, if the economy's blowing up and everybody's happy, maybe during this first term when the economy was good, we could work on some of that. But right now, things are pretty fucking bad. And can you imagine when we were talking about the price of eggs under Biden, the price of gas under Biden and groceries under Biden, if Biden started buying all this lavish luxury shit, how folks would have viewed that? It's just as bad now. You just like the guy that's in there. It's just as bad right now. I know what his favorite thing in the Bible is, the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, huh? And looking in the comments here real quick, a lot of lazy thumbs out here. I guess this may be a bad topic for tonight. Oops, didn't mean to do that. There we go. Bad for the working man. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, some of those things you could have, you factor in the cost. Think about how many people homeless people he could have got off the street just with refurbishing the jet alone. Like you're spending triple-digit millions on each one of these projects while people are struggling. And you're taking money from the struggling people to pay for the projects. So the same lady that's bitching about she can barely afford to put gas in her car, can barely afford to buy groceries, some of her tax money while she's struggling is going to cover these lavish items for him. That just almost looked like it's financially cruel, in my opinion. Alex Shop, good evening. Welcome to the program. He's cutting us. Yeah, I'm just simply saying. Alex, good evening. Alex, are you there? Okay, apparently Alex is not there. Trump said he doesn't care about Americans, says Cleo. Call me now. Madam Cleo, you're absolutely right. He did just say that the other day. He's not caring about the finances. Like handing out free drugs in jail, maybe we could give tax money to Somalis. Here's what I don't get, though. What I'll say about this is, if we talk about something that Trump is doing that doesn't look right, pointing to something that Biden or Obama did that was similar is not a defense for Trump. I mean, if you want to deflect to something that didn't look right under the Biden administration, I'm fine with that. But understand when it was happening under the Biden administration, he was getting criticized for it. Now that Trump is doing the same thing, we don't go back and talk about Biden again. Now we talk about Trump. He's doing it. Like you mentioned, handing out shit in jail. When that was happening, Biden was getting criticized for it. Now that Trump is fucking up, we don't go back and talk about the Biden administration again. Unless you just would rather let Trump get away with that stuff, unless that's the point. Trump stopped both of those things. Trump did that. Look, there are so many things that I see hypocrisy on, like liberal judges letting out criminals that go on to reoffend, and the argument is, why the hell didn't you keep this person behind bars? I had a guest on yesterday, a MAGA guest on yesterday, talking about how bad liberal judges are. You know, a liberal judge feels sorry for a kid in urban America. You know, maybe the system was too hard on him. He shouldn't have been arrested. They gave him too much time, and they let the kid out. And then he go out and rob somebody else or something, or God forbid, kill somebody. And the argument is, if you had kept his ass in jail, this wouldn't have happened. That's the whole liberal judge argument. But then when you point out that Trump let out a bunch of the January 6 folks because he said the same thing, the system was too hard on them, and some of them went out and reoffended, there was no argument. It was literally the exact same thing happened. He let out criminals because he said the system was too hard on them, and they got out and they reoffended. It's the same shit. Not a peep out of MAGA. Not a peep. One of them got into a shootout with an Indiana State trooper and they had to kill him. Another one was trying to take the life of Minority Speaker Hakeem Jeffries. Not a peep out of MAGA about that. They're all over liberal judges, though. Trump did the exact same thing. And listen, you got folks that got let out, they got pardoned, that are on video literally beating cops with flagpoles and bear spraying them shit. And not only did he pardon them, he called them patriots. But the liberal judges get hammered all day long, huh? The hypocrisy is thick. Iran or China, please come save America. Why would they do that? If anything, they would take revenge and try to put America in its place. Because, I mean, first of all, in Iran, we've killed a lot of innocent people. So Iran has no desire to be friends or work with America at all. Not to mention, we got out of the deal they made with Obama. And once again, I had another person on the right talking about the fact that they believe Obama gave the Iranians piles of cash and all that. Like, how much you think it's costing now? You want to say that Obama released, billions of dollars back to Iran? How much money you think we spending now? we spending more money now doing this shit than what Obama did. King Finn, good evening. Welcome to the program, King.
I'm going to save you today. I'm not even going to play my theme music. Just because, I don't feel like doing it. It's been a couple days and, I'll let you have it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I do want to go back to some stupid shit that I seen in the comments a couple seconds ago. See, the problem with people like MAGA Reacts, Pizza Lover, Bake Boss, all these people, and what's really actually hilarious to me now that we're saying those names, Jeremy actually fucking surprised the shit out of me the other day. I heard Jeremy get at MAGA Reacts and dust his
Oh man, it was bad. It was bad.
It was bad.
It was bad.
It is bad.
It was
Jeremy
bad.
is dusting you off. You don't have the power. Put the key down. Secondly, Bama Landscaper, your president called this a war. It's a war.
How they still, wait, hold on. Is there somebody in my comments right now still suggesting that this is not a war?
Yes. Bama Landscaper is suggesting that this is not a war. The Democrats voted against it. But here's the thing. How can you not call it a war? Your president called it a war. They don't think it. They know Iran thinks it's a war. The fucking soldiers over there think it's a war. You're the only idiot that's sitting on this side of the damn pond talking about, Trump don't affect the gas prices. He don't make the gas prices. But if you start a war with the fucking countries who have the most of gas and have all of those those resources over there, I think that kind of fucks with the
well, he did just admit he's trolling about the war. I had I was on Straight Talk Commerce's program earlier today, and he tried to indicate that because we don't get much of our oil from Iran has nothing to do with the gas prices going up in America. So I asked him, I was like, well, shit, gas just shot up in March. Then what made that happen? And he had no answer for it. Like, you're telling me that the fact that we go to war with Iran and gas prices immediately go up, but yet the war had nothing to do with it? I mean, some of the spinning, it just makes you dizzy.
But that's the same way the super tankers are headed to Texas, right?
Yeah,
right.
They are.
Have you seen the super tanker in Texas yet?
No.
That's the same way that. Oh yeah, we're doing such a great job by the blockade. Yeah, we're stopping so much there. They don't got no money over there, huh? They ain't got no money. That's the same way that they talking about the UAE. Excuse me, not talking about the UAE is pulling out of OPEC. It is going to destabilize the gas market, right? These are all things that we know to be true, not falsification, not theories. This is shit that we know to be true, right?
Yeah.
I rest my case. I don't want to talk about that, though. I want to talk about your boy and how he got trolled today so hard, right? No, I don't think a lot of people noticed that shit.
Who are you talking about?
Okay. So your boy goes to China, right?
Oh, you're talking about Trump.
He gets off the plane. Your boy Trump goes to China and gets off. He's on the plane. Wait, I want to say this because I wanted everybody to realize those people that were on the plane with him, those CEOs, they didn't go because they wanted to go with Trump.
You know, you weren't listening to my early. Before you make that statement, I want you to hear something because I agree with you what you're about to say, but I want to play something that just in case some of you or people in the audience didn't hear because I think it plays right into what you are about to say.
I bet it does.
And this is Trump. This is Trump's very own Treasury Secretary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and this right here, I believe is worse than. I think this has a more damaging effect than even closing the Strait of Hormuz.
It does.
I would say that the single biggest threat to the world economy, the single biggest point of single failure, is that 97% of the high-end chips are made in Taiwan. If that island were blockaded, that capacity were destroyed, it would be an economic apocalypse. So
an economic apocalypse. Now we know the economic apocalypse. He's talking about that for you. I know you know, but for folks who don't know, Taiwan makes most of the semiconductors on the planet, and that's the stuff that goes in our phones, our computers, our GPS systems, our weapons, our missiles. If China imposes a blockade on Taiwan, which they could easily do, our technological advances are going to be stunted significantly.
Yeah. But see, again, I want to say the people. Did you notice the companies that were on the plane with him?
What about wait, hold on? What about Takesha in the comments saying our chips are made here now? That's not accurate, but
some chips that are made.
Most of them are not.
Some of them.
Yeah, most of them are not.
A big portion of the chips that we use on a daily basis, computers, phones, toasters, microwaves, from the rooter to the tutor, are made in Taiwan.
Yeah.
And they are. We give them the materials to make them because they make them the way they quickly make them. So it's
I think they're tying it into they're tying it into
right, because Biden did start making some of the chips with the CHIPS Act, but we still get a majority.
The infrastructure in manufacturing to bring all that back home is not set up yet, and we're not making most of our semiconductors in America. That's not happening. Not to mention, you got just think about it this way: you know for certain when most of our semiconductors are made in America because the price of shit will skyrocket. Like, think about what a laptop cost and a computer cost in the early 1990s when we were doing that stuff. Think about what cell phones cost. When that stuff is made by America, you'll know when it's happening because the price of it will skyrocket. If the price hasn't went up, that's because it ain't being made here yet.
The only thing I was going to say about that is notice the companies that got on the plane with them to come, on Air Force One to come. NVIDIA.
People that have an interest in chips.
The companies that are big time hitters. Elon Musk.
Yeah.
The companies that are big time hitters. They didn't go with Trump. They went for China. They didn't go with Trump. They went for China. Which brings me to my last point. Did you see how he got trolled? I want you to realize, did you see how he got trolled?
No. Oh, you talking about the threats they made on Taiwan? How it must be handled properly?
I'm talking about from the beginning of. I'm talking about from the.
Not meeting them on the runway at 2 a.m.
No.
What are you talking about?
No. Wait, he walks down the carpet or whatever, right? Where are the adults at, Tim?
The kids?
Where are the adults at? Why is the first thing that he walks past a bunch of kids? Why was that?
I don't know.
Why was that?
I don't know.
What is that for?
I do not know what that's about.
Did you want to welcome him with children? Is that what that was?
Well, we did hear the man likes kids. According to Epstein, the man does like kids, right? He likes kids, so.
China, super, just the grittiest of ill shit to do is to walk your boy, who y'all think is a PEDO, past a whole bunch of damn kids. The trolling there, 100 of 100. Unfucking believable. And the bad part about it is, if you really look at it, he tried not to look, but had to look. It wasn't low key. It was high key trolling. And I'm telling you, that was the illest shit I've ever seen.
You know what's bad? Here's something I'll say that's really bad. And I know some of my beloved MAGAs often say are going to call this Trump derangement syndrome. Maybe it is, I don't know. But you know it's bad when there's enough Americans in this country that dislike Trump to the point where they're literally rooting for the enemy. Like, there's a lot of folks who want Xi Jinping to embarrass Trump or want Iran to hurt America. Because Trump has created that many enemies in his own country that many of his own countrymen would rather root for the country to lose just to see him flounder. I mean, that's how bad it's gotten.
But you know what though? I don't know if I can say it that it's people want to see Iran hurt America, or people want to see Xi Jinping win. I think it's that they want to see Trump fail. Because out of all of this, when you say, like we were talking about, I know we talked about this for a long time, right? When you say America, they don't look at whether it was Bill Clinton or Bob Dole, Ronald Reagan. They say America's America, right? Mm-hmm. But this is the first time that we've actually had a time where we have to separate ourselves from a president, because he's done so much egregious shit that we literally have to remind them, hey, we didn't do that. Trump did that. Yeah. And the other countries are responding. You know what I'm saying? Like the other countries, Spain, France, Italy, are all responding with, yeah, well, we get y'all. What Iran sent, stop. Okay. Iran sent a message saying, hey, Americans, we know it's not you. We know it's
yeah, them Lego videos. Them Lego videos.
Yeah. The Lego videos are.
Let me ask you, I got to ask this by straight talk. And I'm gonna pass this on to you because I want to hear your answer on this. Who do you trust more, the Iranians or our commander-in-chief?
The Iranians.
Shit.
See, here's the thing. I wish I could say, if you were talking about a different commander-in-chief, then maybe I would say our commander-in-chief. But Trump, throughout his first term, got caught lying thousands of times?
It ain't even the thousands of times. It's just, even if you look at his information coming out about the Iran war, he's said a lot of things that ain't true. Just in the last few weeks.
There's still lies coming out. He's saying everything's fine. When we're looking, there are soldiers coming back, soldiers reporting home saying that the FOBs over there are toast.
Yeah. That's crazy. It's gotten to that point where you
can't lie about that shit. Like I don't know if it's people are telling him that's what he should be doing to keep America calm, if he thinks that's what's going on. And I really just sound like I'm giving him a fucking out here, but I don't really care what he thinks. What he needs to start doing is stop lying, tell the motherfucking truth, and get on his shit. Because either way it goes, he's fucked. You know what I'm saying? This is where I get in trouble with my liberal side of the aisle when I'm defending Trump, but I understand why he's lying, at least on the war. Because he told MAGA no new war. So the only thing that's going to keep MAGA favorable to him is you need to be winning the ones you start, because you promised none. So if you're going to, look, you started a war to prevent them from getting a nuclear weapon. We agree with you. But win that fucking war. So if he tells the truth about what's going on in Iran, that we're not winning, we're not as far ahead as he's making it sound like, their military's gone, their navy's at the bottom of the ocean, and they don't have any power. If he tells the actual truth, it doesn't look like we're winning like that. Right, but Tim, the war itself is a lie.
Yeah, the premise of it, yeah. The reason, yeah.
The idea that he's over there doing this for schoolgirls who he magically unsolvably fucking murdered, that's a lie. The fact that he's over there doing this for to save people who are being oppressed, that's a lie. The idea that he's over there doing it for the American people, that's a lie. He's bringing down costs, that's a lie. It's going to get better, that's a lie. Long-term, short-term pain for long-term gain, that's a lie. Everything he touches is shit. And you people keep wanting to follow him. Don't ask me why I don't follow him. Ask you why you do.
Well, the man has a way to keep people.
The man has a way of shitting out a burger and making motherfuckers believe that it's hamburger.
Damn.
And I don't buy it.
Well, it's a keep the faith mentality. He does have a way of keeping people, of having folks remain faithful in him. And MAGA remains faithful that he will deliver.
He has a way of making dumb people dumber.
You're not saying that all MAGA are dumb, are you?
I'm saying MAGA is stupid as fuck. You motherfuckers is dumb as shit. If you can't see this motherfucker's been whitewashing and manipulating the markets for months now, you sorry smooth brain motherfuckers need to wake up. I'm sorry. I can't help you no more. I don't want to say it like that no more. I don't even want you to subscribe to my Patreon. Go subscribe to a book. Look at history.
I need to get a Patreon because I've been short on hat and mustaches this evening. So maybe I need to get a Patreon.
Here we go. Look, I got flagged. There's my time. See, this is how you know I'm doing the right thing. because somebody they go run and report on me. I'm glad you motherfuckers report on me. I'm glad. I hope it happens every day I go on. You know why? Because it lets me know my message is out there and motherfuckers is listening. You mad? You reported. I'm laughing. I won, bitch.
All right. King, is always a pleasure. He works hard in the paint, folks. Tap the screen. Trump has the right message on some stuff, but lies on others. I agree with that. Listen, I 100% agree that we should have a secure border. Kettle Brew, appreciate the hat and mustache. Yeah. By the way, your comment on Instagram says Trump doesn't have a moral compass, period. He is a reflection of Americans who want to go back to the Jim Crow era. Yikes. Yikes. Thank you for the hat and mustache. Yikes, that comment is horrendous, though. But, yeah, man. But in regards to Lapman or whatever that says, Trump has the right message on some stuff but lies on others. Yeah, he does have the right message on some stuff. I agree with securing the border and knowing who the hell's in the country. I don't see anything wrong with that message. Where you lose me at, though, is saying that people are emptying insane asylums and prisons and things like that. Just do what needs to be done to make the country great. Quit making up lies for why you're doing it. I don't buy for one bit that anybody is emptying prisons and insane asylums and they're coming here. Why make that up? That just creates unnecessary hate. I'll bring up the cats and dogs in Springfield, Ohio. Why make up stuff like that? That just creates unnecessary hate. And he does that all the time. So, yeah, he has the right message on some stuff, but he does do other things that are either dishonest or hateful. Dishonest and or hateful. So I would rather he not do that. So that means he don't even have Dave the Democrat. What is this? So that means he don't even have Dave the Democrat president in the next 4 years. Might do something right. See, even though I'm not a Democrat, I'm a rationalized person. Well, we need more rationalized people. That's what we need. I think some of look, it used to be Democrats and conservatives. The conservatives are the rational people. The Democrats don't like the conservatives, just like the conservatives don't like the Democrats, but I think them two are rational. It's the far left and far right that has become amongst the irrational. And Trump is far right. He's not like a traditional conservative. In fact, I think he's a populist, but he's governing from far right principles. I mean, some of the stuff he's doing is really, really far to the right. That's when it becomes irrational. We often hear about radical far left judges and radical far left activists. You don't hear people talking about the far right that much, but the far right is just as bad as the far left. The far right is going to be akin to the Taliban and shit like that. I mean, there are plenty of far right governments on the planet, and you don't want anything to do with far right governments if you are a woman, marginalized as a minority, LGBTQ. You don't want nothing to do with them people, because far right governments give one particular section of the population the top, and they view everybody else as below. I mean, like I mentioned, the Taliban, women are marginalized. If you're not from the main religion, the minority religions are treated differently. I mean, it's all of the rest of that stuff is not good. So you can go too far to the right, just like you can go too far to the left. I want to see who is smoking on the bus. Give me dollar store mirrors. I'm glad my city decided to end contract of flock cameras. What is that? End contract of flock cameras. What are your views on Israel? Went too far. I look, I'm okay with Israel defending itself. What happened on October 6th, October 7th, whichever day it is, that was horrible. I get it. You want some get back. Just like what happened here on September 11th. We wanted some get back. But it wasn't, I don't think most of that was self-defense. It was mainly get back. But at some point, you can go from being a good guy that is fighting against folks that are trying to victimize you, to being a bad guy that's just simply victimizing others. And Israel went way above and beyond what happened on October 6th or 7th or whatever it was. Once you start preventing food from going to the country and just literally starving people, preventing water, taking out medics and emergency personnel, shooting them. I mean, they went way above and beyond what they were. I mean, they literally, you hear people talking about, turning the place into the Stone Age. They really did that to Gaza. I mean, by the time they were done with Gaza, it really wasn't a building standing. They really did that to Gaza. So I believe they went overboard. I believe they actually went overboard. And not to say they didn't have a reason to be angry, but at some point, somebody hits you in the face and you get pissed off. You punch them and they're on the ground, and now you just curb stomping them. You're doing some American History X type shit on them. At some point, you become the bad guy. The fight is over with. You've gotten your revenge. At this point, what you're doing now is you're gonna kill a guy, and that's what Israel's kind of done. They've went overboard. Thanks, Unc. Glad we rational about this. Thank you. Appreciate that. I hope the right wins 200. I hope the right wins for 200 years, just so you can see what happened to Rome. You bunch of evil clowns. I don't, because we live here. I don't want that to happen. By the way, if the right wins for 200 years, our superpower status will be long gone before then. Because you're going to have a lot of civil unrest, because there are plenty of left-wing people in the country that are going to be putting up resistance and fighting back. I mean, I'll give you a good example of what could lead to civil unrest in this country right now. Rolling back the Voting Rights Act. If this goes as planned, you're pretty much going to have a whole bunch of African Americans being governed by people they did not pick. And it's deliberate. It's deliberate. I mean, eventually that's going to boil over. I mean, it's going to start out with protests and shit like that. Then it may get into some Black Lives Matter type shit where you got riots and stuff. And then, of course, under the Trump administration, he's going to respond in a heavy-handed manner. And then here we go. But make no mistake about it, what the Rolling Back the Voting Rights Act was, what they're doing is deliberately trying to squelch the Democrat vote. And because 80% of blacks vote Democrat, the black vote is going to get hit the hardest by that. When you take a city like Memphis and you divide it into 3 districts, so every single district is now a minority district to all the surrounding Republican areas, so that each one of those districts in Memphis, an all-black city, is now going to be red. Yeah, they're gonna be pissed off about that. Because now you got folks that are in the far suburbs and rural areas that are 20, 30, 50 miles away from Memphis, governing how Memphis is. People that live out in the sticks and out in the rural areas they live a totally different life than they do in Memphis. And they're going to be passing laws to control what it's like in Memphis. Yeah, it's going to be terrible. So, yeah, it's not going to be long before you start I think they already got they already got mass protests already scheduled. And once you start putting in all of these politicians that are doing shit that is totally counter to what they want in their own town, then you start getting BLM type shit. And then, of course, under the Trump administration, he's going to respond with heavy-handed ICE type shit. And there you go. There's your civil unrest. That's how it starts. Looking in the comments, like most people don't even know how to cook worth the shit. What does that mean? Over 100 House seats were ruled unconstitutional given under Obama Biden. They are going to be taken away. Once you see the South, and it's just all white politicians, even in predominantly black areas, that'll let you know that any claim that this wasn't hurting the black vote was a lie. That was a lie. When you see all that areas that are deep blue, mostly minorities, and the congressmen or women is a Republican and they're white. I mean, come on now, which is what it used to be like. Once you see that happening, there's no denying what they did affected the minority vote. Right now, they're lying about, well, you still can vote. Nobody's taking away your vote. It's kind of like with the abortion thing. We didn't ban it. You still can get it. Yeah, you might have to travel a few thousand miles, but you still can get it. Nobody stopped you. Come on now. People can see what's really going on. Looking in the comments here. What are your views on? I don't know what that word even is. Pan-African. I don't know what that is. Overall, like most people don't even know. When you realize people don't know as much as they think they know, then you teach them. Anyway, tap the screen. Let me go back to the next comment. Stop voting one way or don't vote at all. It's not your place to tell people that, lap man. It's not your place to tell people how to vote. But like I said, if you got people in an area, like look how they acted on January 6th when they thought their vote was being stolen. They thought it was being stolen. I think what's happening with the reversal of the Voting Rights Act is pretty obvious what's happening. Takesha Boy, good evening. What are your thoughts on the Clarity Act? I'm not aware of what that act is. Takesha, good evening.
Hey Tim, how you doing?
Are you aware what the Clarity Act is?
I don't know what that is. But listen, did you see President Xi Jinping keep slipping out his chair today?
I haven't watched any of it. Well, I got it on now because Trump is over there now, and I'm watching it live what he's doing right now, but I didn't see it earlier.
Well, he kept slipping out his chair because Trump was over there greasing him up so hard. I thought Trump's name was Crisco. He was over there giving that man so many compliments, handsome, till I thought the man died, rose from the dead, and saved his life. I said, do Trump know they got internet? He said, I always say you're a great man. You're a great president. I admire China. It's beautiful. I said to myself, that wasn't what you were saying a couple of months ago, Trump.
Well, Trump is a transactional guy. He's going to do what benefits him in the moment.
That ain't what you were saying a couple of months ago, Trump. You were talking about the boys real bad in Xi Jinping. But you done got over there and made that man seem like you the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Well, he ain't going to go to the country and insult the man in his own country. This is China. This ain't Venezuela.
They say you're a strong man. They say he said we want to say.
Yeah.
You don't think he know them folks heard him talking about them?
Yeah, I mean, but then again, they probably...
When you listen to how Crisco greased that man up, you will understand what I'm talking about. That man kept slipping out his chair because Trump had greased him up real bad. But let me say this, Tim, and this for Matter Reacts. Hunter Biden, regardless to whether he was a substance abuser, he's a lawyer. He was on the board of Burisma.
You think he would?
Jared Kushner was a water boy who went to Afghan and came back with all kind of money. You ain't saying nothing about that.
Why is Buck saying he bet $100 you wearing a cap? Are you wearing a cap?
I got a bonnet on, yeah.
Okay, you guessed it right, I guess.
So what?
I don't know.
I keep telling you, so what? That man named Buck Eye. Probably looking like a buzz-eye fish sandwich. Probably looking like he's some kid in the cash potato. Bug eye. Probably like he go around. He probably like he be surprised all the time.
You said I bet he kid in the Cash Patel. I'm thinking, have you seen the Lego movie with Cash Patel with the big eye?
Yeah, that's why I said he going around looking like he's surprised all the time.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
And Magriac said something else. Magriac said, this is what you said. You said,
thank you for that dog. Ginger, go ahead.
Look, you said, why is Trump stopping third world people from third world countries coming over? And Magriac said, oh, they still coming over? And then you turned around and you asked the question again. And then he said, well, they're not coming. And I said, what the hell? All in the same breath.
He trying to convince people that Trump does not have a problem with legal immigration. And it's pretty obvious he does. You got to remember
what you say from one sentence to the next.
Well, when you're spinning, you get dizzy occasionally.
Damn, you ought to be ashamed. But did you see, Tim, I want you to go watch the videos because Elon Musk was spinning like a top two. Them folks taking a photo op and he's spinning around looking in the ceiling. You know, he took little chromosome with him when he went over there.
Oh, my God.
X, you know, it's too much, Tim. You over there like you ain't never been out of town before. I was embarrassed.
I would assume Elon's been there.
Land of Oz, finna go meet the Wizard of Oz.
Well,
how excited he was.
Well, you know he's on the spectrum. My heart goes out to him, but
he's not on the spectrum. He ain't on the spectrum. He's just a nut. That I told him on another live. He wasn't even born. That man was made in a lab. He ain't human, Tim.
Oh,
He lab made.
I mean,
I'm telling you.
how do you act if you're the world's richest man? I mean, no matter how
The
you
man
act.
is and that's my whole point. You can buy China. Why are you over there acting like you ain't never been out of town?
I think he's just he's giddy about the people here, right? He's around the most powerful people
No,
on
he
earth.
just was over there. That's all that was. He had got over to some ganja and ronja, and he was just on one, Tim. That's all that was. You just got to watch it, Tim.
So,
You gotta watch
so let me ask you: do you trust China?
Yes.
You do?
I'm gonna tell you why I trust China. Because of what your president went over there and said, and because China basically said whatever they talked about with Trump concerning Taiwan, if that don't go down, it's gonna be trouble for America. Trump didn't even comment on it. Trump came back and made a true social post, and where Xi Jinping said that America is going down. And
Whoa, thank you, Bucky.
Trump bragged on the man saying it, and then blame Biden for it. I said enough is enough, man.
But let me ask you: do you think that shit? I mean, do you think that we're gonna put Taiwan under the bus? Do you think? Because I mean, we don't.
I think he already threw him under there.
Yeah,
I think time he hit the floor, he said, "I'm gonna give you whatever you want."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So no more defending Taiwan. So Taiwan maybe.
No, I really don't.
They
can hang it up.
Wow. I actually agree with you. I do believe that he made some kind of deal and let them know ahead of time that, you know, if you meet Taiwan, as long as you meet our obligations, do what you